Importantly, as Matsu pointed out, their cooldowns are way shorter. So you can play more of a skirmishing style. This seems like a very clear approach from Liquid based on what they saw in Game 1. They're like, okay, what we tried there didn't work. We're going to shake things up a lot. Like, this lineup is very, very different from what they ran in the game that we just saw played. We'll see if that adjustment is going to pay off here. I definitely like their odds better in this one than I did in the previous one. But, you know, at the same time, it's a bit high risk playing like this, perhaps.
And the battle for the Lotuses, and Mickey will reign supreme. Higher tick rate on his server. But Mira, like you talked about, Shadow Demon against the Spirit Breaker is kind of like the big counter to the hero overall, along with the itemization. It feels like even in games that we've seen this picked, the Spirit Breaker still destroys eventually. That's what it feels like, at least. I don't know if that's confirmation bias or what. Would you agree, disagree?
I mean, I think core Spirit Breaker is just extremely powerful right now, almost no matter what. I think you need to completely obliterate him in lane to shut him down. We saw the game against Muerta just now in the other series with VP against Betboom, and despite the Kiritich playing a very good laning stage against pure Spirit Breaker, he still came online eventually and became top net worth. So, yeah, this hero is kind of crazy right now. It's banned in most games for a reason, and I'm kind of surprised that we get to see it twice today. I thought this hero was just going to be an almost must ban in every game, but the teams are trying to find solutions. Obviously, we saw the Doom as one potential solution, didn't work, and now we see Mira on the Shadow Demon. Demonic Purge is an S-tier spell against Spirit Breaker, slows you to a crawl, removes Bulldoze. But yeah, we'll see if that's enough. We've seen this tried by other teams. This is not the first time this tournament people pull out Shadow Demon against Spirit Breaker, and I think the last time we saw it also lost. So
I think it works a couple of times in the game, and then when he gets enough items, it just doesn't matter anymore, it feels like.
That is exactly how it feels.
And I think one of the big issues, maybe if you want to call it that, with Spirit Breaker is his ability to farm has been just power crept so hard over the last couple of years.
That is why
he's one of the fastest farmers in the game. And he's a cow. That doesn't really make sense.
It's kind of crazy that a hero that used to have it as his Achilles heel, right, was the struggle to find farm, is now top net worth in a lot of its games. Like, that's a very major transformation this hero has undergone. And maybe it's a bit on the high side right now. He definitely seems to be, okay, hang on. Decent combination onto Neposhka, fearing him back into the silence, but just barely out of range.
Yeah, but bottom lane, Insania takes a tumble via Mira, who's now getting chased by Mickey, but won't pursue any further, it looks like.
Has too many creeps in the tower. Mickey can't really afford to go hunting for a potential Shadow Demon kill there. He needs to ensure that he gets this CS. And yeah, this is a very easy lane for Tide, I think. There's a reason that Spirit went for this as their last pick in this game. The lane matchup of Weaver is very straightforward. You get a couple points in Crack and Chill, you largely mitigate all of the Geminate attack, and you just sit there and farm. So top net worth.
So calling it now, Dead in the Water against Weaver.
Very good.
Against Pango.
Very good.
Against Spirit Breaker.
Very good.
My God.
It is very good.
That is an S-tier shard this game, I think.
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised if Collapse prioritizes that very quickly. And the fact that you can just anchor them, and then when Spectre actually has farm to be able to ult in anytime they want, they can get some nice pickoffs with just that as well, without too much to really expend by doing so.
Yeah, just an anchor and a Shadow Step can kill supports as well.
Of course, Mickey does have Geminate attack, which helps.
Yeah, that's something. When he gets level 25, he might take the one with an additional attack.
Yeah,
hit him 3 times.
The other 2 cores are melee against, so it's going to kind of be the same issues we saw last game to a degree. We'll see what kind of build that Foxy ends up going for. I know it feels like they start out as support with Muerta and then eventually turn into a core anyway.
Oh, big damage on Zai. Nice block.
He blocks Yatoro. Going to continue on. Just the one not going to survive. TP a little bit too late as Yatoro claims that kill.
That was just flat out. That was just beautiful from the push kill. That was flawless execution. They force out the charge first off with a bit of damage and harass, and then he just blocks him the whole way after. Very well done. Zai probably had the option there of TPing back to base. Obviously, Spirit Breaker is one of the heroes in the game that suffers the least from porting to base. You can just charge back to the top lane. So maybe regretting that choice right now of not going for that. I definitely think he would have survived. The kill was very slow. But he'll make the same play just with a death, returning up to top.
So all this talk about Pango getting nerfed, quote-unquote, to the ground several times now, and we're still seeing it.
Yep.
pretty consistently. What do you think, to hold that thought actually, is Mira? The swashbuckle already used by Nisha. Let's be a bit careful. Roll in, not going to connect from Laurel, as Insania showing himself now, so no harm done. But yeah, talk to me about your thoughts on how strong Pango is. He's still continuing to get picked, because the one thing that hasn't really been nerfed, I think, is his ult, if I'm not mistaken.
So the concept of the hero is largely the same, right? We've been tweaking numbers, a little bit less damage on this spell, a little less damage on that spell, a little more mana cost, but the essence of what the hero does is largely unchanged. It is buying diffusal, burning mana, and then having an ult that's very hard to counter strategically.
Yep, calling is there. Nice dead shot, gonna bring Mira back into the fray. Will die as a result as Nisha showing off that new Rolling Thunder, but the haste rune being applied by Laurel. He can dodge out a couple of those rolls. So Nisha not able to follow up as a nice roll in. Boxy on a bunch of creep will die to the neutrals.
Laurel could maybe
he's getting charged right now. They have the vision, but
not quite.
Gonna cancel it out. Sure, Boxy was a bit surprised to receive the hit and run there.
Yeah.
And then dies to creeps anyway.
He's going to be very happy to die to the neutrals.
Yeah.
Quite a bit of waste of time there from Laurel. And
Collapse has Meteor Hammer, by the way, and Weaver has no stun. So this will be a free tower for Collapse at the 9-minute mark. This Mickey has... He's eventually going to go for the Hurricane Pike, or at least the Dragon Lance right now. How does that work against Dead in the Water for Steph? Do you know?
I think you would just move with the anchor, but it stays on you,
That's
right?
That's right. You get an anchor. Yatoro. Already at half HP. Going to use that ult to get away onto the other side. Mickey is waiting for him, but does not have the damage at this point. Yatoro back to base.
Yeah, he's going to live, but that's still a good move from Liquid, slowing him down quite a lot. Having to use ult and TP to just survive, and they find Mikoshka here too, and nicely done. A good sequence from them. Let's count that as a kill and a half with how much Yatoro just lost from having to port to base, having to walk his way to top lane, and having to buy a TP as well. All the expenses add up, and they're going to turn into some serious tower damage too.
2 games now, he's getting massive stacks.
Yeah, this time around he won't be farming it too fast though, because he went for 3 points in Kraken Shell, so this is a bit slow. But eventually he'll get through it.
It just takes smaller bites. Insania nether blasting the tower, so eventually will be a delayed trade between the 2 tier 1s on opposite sides of the map. No even game so far. Team Spirit, I think at this point was like maybe 2K ahead, and they just kept progressing in that game number 1 just slowly until they just hit a point where they could not lose a fight or even a hero for a very considerable amount of time.
Yeah.
But Liquid faring a bit better this time around.
I guess something that's worth pointing out is the discrepancy between quality of Tide games, you could say. The matchups for Tide in this game are so much better than Zai's were in last game, so I'm expecting Collapse to have a better showing. There's nothing here that's preventing him from getting Ravage off, unless you get like some sort of ridiculously perfect chain stun combo around Kraken, or you line up an exact silence combination. I mean, you get where I'm getting at. It's very difficult here to prevent him from having that impact. And you don't have the most obvious silver edge buyers either. Are you going to buy it on Weaver?
Double invis, I hear it's good.
I mean, it's not out of the question because buying crit on this hero is good anyway, and you're also against Spectre, so you probably do want a break. But none of your heroes naturally really love itemizing this, so...
Well, Murta, as a core, would buy Silver Edge, right?
But Boxy has brown boots,
I mean,
so
could we see
he's almost there.
Well, we used to see a lot of Shadow Blades on Spirit Breaker.
Spirit Breaker can buy Silver Edge, but it's a little bit awkward because your initial attack obviously has to be melee. You have to charge through, so you're at the mercy of vision and some, potential counterplays.
Yeah, Boxy gonna dodge the roll. Unbeknownst to him, Nisha gets off that Rolling Thunder. Now Collapse stuck inside the calling right now. Looks like that's gonna be a freebie for Liquid. A nice turnaround as another strike gonna be applied to the Phoenix. Miposhka dives away, very low HP, takes a full swashbuckle with the shield crash to follow here.
Oh, nice dead shot.
Able to get the initiation off onto Nisha, but the heal's coming out from Insania. Will it actually be enough? They're gonna take out the Pugna first. What about that Butler? Now the chase is on. Already a 2-for-1 right now is Yatoro. Ready to go. Mickey running out of mana though. As you can see, The ult from that Shadow Demon applied to Zai. He just can't do anything. A nice place calling, though. It's not going to be enough to save out Mr. Zai. Triple kill for Laurel. As Mickey looking to potentially go for some more, but looks like they'll back away. So it ends up being a 3-for-1.
Yeah, it's going to cost Liquid their mid tower too, because Tide is immediately going to show back up here. He's going to hammer. They're going to glyph it this time around, but imagine that it's just a matter of time before he completes this. So yeah, honestly, a pretty good start there from Liquid, the way they isolated and killed off Collapse. It was very telling how long that took for 4 heroes to bring him down, but they do get there with all of those combinations.
Okay.
Could have been scary, but
yeah, it was a more elongated fight than I remember. It was a 3-for-3.
Yeah.
So old man moment.
And it's worth keeping in mind that Spirit's lineup, obviously, we talked about big team fight versus skirmishing power. Earth Spirit is an incredible skirmishing hero at this point in the game, so they really want that value out of Laurel, and they're getting it in spades so far with that triple kill in that fight. And it's a Spectre game. This hero, when enabled, I want to say it loses pretty few late games. There's a subset of heroes that you're not that great against. I wouldn't put Weaver in that category. I don't think Weaver is a particularly scary matchup late game here.
Well,
so the tower gets big enough.
With the shard changes, he's way better than he used to be.
Definitely better than he used to be. But you're still running into the break problem, right? Where, yeah, Spirit Breaker can get that Silver Edge, but more than likely Zai wants to go Octarine, he wants to go Yashakaya, he wants to go maybe you need BKB this game? I don't think you do, actually. But I guess if you don't get BKB Lincolns, you're very pressured out of the fights by Demonic Purge. You might want a protection item as well, so Silver Edge isn't going to be at the top of his list exactly. Charge. He's going to complete it. Oh, wait, he stopped right before. Oh, that's bad.
Turn this around now. Ravage comes through from Collapse as well. Zai already dead. If they can somehow find Mickey, but no, not enough lockdown. Dead in the water, not there yet, Cinderin.
No.
Not 15 minutes yet. Soon.
That did just not work out. Zai canceled his charge just a millimeter away from his target, so didn't even get the Greater Bash coming through. And just stuck in no man's land getting countered out there. I think a lot of players will be not opting to go for these moves at all. We've seen Spirit Breakers just farming, right? Just being greedy, keep pushing side lanes, use that Midas, farm some jungle. And it feels like Zai's moves have not really been paying off for him very well this game, so perhaps going for that slower and greedier play is the way to go in this one. Well, I say that. He's immediately charging his next target in Laurel, but not going to complete that one either. Just losing out on some pretty valuable farming time.
Oh, Collapse.
We'll have to deny this mid tower now as well. So
Collapse and Mira in the same vicinity as these 3 members of Liquid. They're going to find the Tide to start. Looks like Mira just drops very shortly after this engagement started. Collapse getting charged on. Nice dodge out from that ult on Nisha. But this is going to be way too much damage as Zai makes his way over as well, so a 2 for nada.
That was very nicely placed calling from Boxy, getting that double silence immediately. Really ruined the counterplay from Shadow Demon, potentially disrupting. Just very, very aware of the plans that Spirit had to stall that fight out and maybe get reinforcements, and they just get completely denied. So 2 kills for Liquid. Pretty much a dead even game right now. And they might find another one, Mikoshka.
Yep, not going to bother ulting there.
Yeah, would have died anyway.
Okay, level 12. 300 away from the Deso for himself. We have a Midas, of course, on Zai. I think it's the only... Oh, I spoke too soon. Laurel has a Midas himself as well. Laurel taking a lot of damage from Nisha, who now has that Diffusal Blaze completely automatic, getting charged on by Zai. A big kill for Liquid. As Insania ticking away ever so slowly to that Magnetize. We can see Mira gets dropped by Nisha as well.
Spirit needs to be really careful with what fights they choose to take. I think these couple of moves, when you don't have Spectre healthy enough to join, they're kind of just getting overwhelmed by the raw mobility and just skirmishing power of Liquid's team. This is the type of way you want to play against Tide, is to just not take 5-on-5s, so you can find 2v2s, 3v2s, whatever. You're looking great in those, and Nisha has been very involved.
Yep, headshot not going to be there, but the swash is there from Nisha. He's going to use the inhibit as well. The heal's coming out, and yeah, that's a dead Yatoro again. So Liquid starting to create some serious momentum on their side for game number 2.
Yeah, this is snowballing really fast. Maybe Silent was right. Spirit aren't the ones. I'm sure they can fix it. I want to say some of Spirit's worst minutes in the tournament, I think that's fair to say, have just transpired. And
yep, they're
going to try to make up for it.
Caster Curse reverse potentially. Going to get the Ravage as well. Do they have the damage to get through? Disruption from Mira. And that is a dead Weaver. Big kill for Spirit.
Very
desperately needed.
very, very good. He was going to get off the time lapse. There was just enough of a gap between the rolling boulders that would have been a possible play for Mickey. And if that comes off, he survives, but he just poisons him in that disruption and kills him in disruption, essentially. So, yeah, I find a bit of a return kill there. And I was going to say much needed. It's not that bad yet for Spirit because Spectre's trajectory is still looking pretty solid. Yatoro is closing in on the Sacred Relic, so we're looking at maybe a 20-21 minute Radiance. And their lineup has extreme late game potential, I want to say. Phoenix, one of the best scaling supports. Shadow Demon as well has massive late game potential. Tide can definitely be a big factor in late game situations too. And Earth Spirit Core, who used to... Oh, hang on.
They're silent. Nisha in a lot of trouble. He gets deleted.
Yeah, doesn't have any defensive item yet. He's working on that Manta.
I mean, the game was slipping away from Spirit, but now two extremely important kills for them, and they're back in this.
I think Mira got both of them as well. So the Shadow Demon getting a big bag here. Wonder what he's going to go for. See a pipe flying out now.
I was hoping for a Midas, honestly.
What is the best build on Shadow Demon this game? I
mean, is Ags... I mean, it only gets 2 charges now. Right?
I mean, ultimately, Ags is going to be incredibly good, right? But maybe... Do you buy the Shard? You can purge off Decrepify from allies. You can purge off... I don't know. I'm actually not sure if it's good enough. Maybe just go... Yeah, he's going Aether Lens for now, and then we'll see what his next quick buy item is. Charge from Zai.
Their strike will be there as well. Do they have the lockdown? Yes, the bash is there. Let's go from Liquid. As, oh, I was going to say another Midas may be coming for Boxy, but he actually switches up his build to be a Greaves instead. So helpful for the team.
That item is not very popular.
That's true.
Very interesting choice to see coming out from him.
Yatoro, early Blade Mail. Nisha's going to pop that Rolling Thunder. Sania trying to make his way over as well. Gets another blast. They have the vision now with that charge coming through, and that is a dead Spectre. Big kill for Liquid as they're just training him left and right, it feels like. As Liquid now back in decent control of this game with a 4K lead.
Yeah, nowhere to Shadow Step to there. Didn't even try. You can't see anyone, so... Liquid making sure that when they go for these Spectre kills, they're not opening up a vulnerability on the other side of the map for him to escape to. So clean stuff there. Picking up a Yules now on Miposhka. Interesting, obviously, key item against Spirit Breaker for the time being. Eventually, Zai is eyeing up a BKB already now, and at that point, Demonic Purge is your only real solution for this guy for quite a while. But right now, Yules can pay off big time if they find the kind of fight they will be looking for. Speaking of items, Nisha almost completing Manta style, 50 gold off. He'll get it from this wave, and that's a great way for him to break out of the Earth Spirit combination. So progression on all fronts here, and you know, it's a 5K lead for Liquid. It's looking way healthier than the last game, to say the least. Now it's a matter of enforcing your will on the map, right? There's a specific type of fights you don't want to take, and I want to say those are the ones where you clump up and, you know, let the enemy team land all their big AoE spells, but a lot of skirmishes should be possible as long as you account for the Spectre factor in those. And I don't know, maybe you're also happy to farm. I haven't really seen this Weaver versus Spectre matchup late game. I'm just going off of memory about how this usually goes, but maybe it's clearly different now than it used to be. Maybe you feel confident.
A lot of the decisions that you're talking about come to team dynamics as well. We've seen a lot of teams very happy to go late game anyway.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of how the game is actually going. At first I thought they were just scared to go high ground in general, but it just feels like they feel like it's literally better just to wait like 50 minutes, 3rd, 4th Roche, and that's when you take your time. But other teams we've seen actually able to implement a faster play style.
Yatoro now with the Radiance, so big upgrade for him. Blade Mail Radiance. He's playing against currently 0 BKBs, so massive impact item, and a lot of damage onto Pugna as well. I think that's probably the target for Spirit that they would love to kill the most to begin the fight, is just get this Pugna out of play, remove the Decrepify threat, remove the heals onto the course that they want to follow through on afterwards. Yatoro is probably able to do it in a single stun. They just need to connect something onto Insania, and he will be a quick kill. See Yatoro again.
Yep, Swash to start things out. He's going to use his ult to dodge out the first Rolling Thunder proc. Nicely done, but will they still find the damage? Deadshot. A little bit awkward, though. Disruption now from Mira. Is going to be enough to actually save his life. It looks like it is. So a bit of a miscue there from Liquid side, as Insania might pay the price. Laurel continuing on. He has the Magnetize applied to Insania, trying to TP out, but It's a little bit ambitious at this stage.
Yeah.
It could have been a huge kill for Liquid, who are already sporting a decent lead with 6K right now.
It's one of those moments where you're kicking yourself a little bit, right? Because with maybe slightly better communication, that misplay doesn't happen, and at the same time, Yatoro with a great shadow step dodge there made their lives that bit harder. It's just one support at the end of the day that you lose, but realistically speaking, that was probably a dead Spectre that you ended up losing, so it kind of feels like you lost 2 or 3 heroes even in that engagement. But they're still looking very healthy on the gold, and as we all expected, guys, Spirit Breaker top net worth, minute 23. Truly one of the heroes of all time.
Octarine
keep it rolling.
is finished for Zai. Midas, BKB to come, I assume, is Shadow Blade. So he will be going for the Silver Edge eventually. And it's Tormy time! And Poshka will get the shard, and that is a very, very good one.
Yeah, gets a lot better when he gets level 12, because then he has the protection of a much harder to kill Supernova, but still just a nice pickup in general. Yeah, as you mentioned, Zai will start working toward that Silver Edge. They recognize that this is an item they have to get. If he wasn't in a breaking game here, I don't think he would buy Shadow Blade even, but the break is just too important here. So you kind of have to go for it over other interesting items that we've seen people buy on this hero, such as Lincoln's or Kayayasha.
Interesting.
Refreshers, you know. The whole catalog of items.
He'll find his way there eventually. If this is like any other Spirit Breaker game we've seen this tournament.
Oh yeah, he's definitely not going to fall off, I'll tell you that much.
Yep. I mean, if a cow falls off, I don't think they can get back up. So that would be pretty bad if he did.
Falls off what, though?
A cliff.
Yeah, a lot of things can't get up when they fall off a cliff. Thank you very much for your insight.
Liquid with a 6K lead. We haven't seen a Roche attempt quite yet.
Card from Zai.
And from Zai.
No silver, though.
Collapse. He's going to pop the pipe. Another strike's going to be there. Mira is now in the area with the disruption available. To use it yet. They're trying to get rid of these little bugs, and there's the Ravish from Collapse. Can they turn this around? Ultin from the Spectre as well. Woo! Disruption. Oh, actually, they had some decent heals from this egg as well. Still, nobody has died somehow. Laurel comes in. He's taking the brunt of the damage. There's a disruption, but now he's on enemy lines. Looks like that's going to be the sacrifice for Team Spirit. So Collapse ends up living throughout the day here. Now he's going to jump right back in, uses that anchor. That's the dead in the water onto the Pangolier. They're going to lose their Shadow Demon, though. And Yataro's going to have to back away because they just don't have the damage right now. And Mickey will be whipped into submission, but will just Shikuchi away. So 2 dead for Spirit, 0 for Liquid. And that was the anchor being shown for the first time from Spirit's side.
And the panel talked about this, right? Spirit might run into damage problems in the mid game, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Laurel, without that BKB, he just gets shut down. And there's 2 BKBs on the side of Liquid with massive impact there, the Spirit Breaker as well as the Weaver.
Yeah.
But the fight's not over.
He's healing up quite a bit. Eventually will fall. Meteor Hammer actually connects onto 2. Mickey with a beautiful time lapse. He's going to get most of his HP back. As a result, as Yatoro just get right-clicked down by Mickey on that Weaver. And Spirit loses a very valuable member. I don't think they can go any further. Collapse with no ult, of course, using the previous fight. And Zai, well, that's a Spirit Breaker, so he's fine.
Yeah.
He's literal opposite as an ancient apparition. He's going to get anchored, though. And it's gone. Okay.
Yeah, I think Zai is going to make a point out of not using Bulldoze when he charges, because he will get Yuled a lot of the time by the Phoenix, and if he just reserves the Bulldoze for after, if there's no Demonic Purge ready or Shadow Demon isn't in the play, he can very safely get out of there with just the Bulldoze. Because, as we've already established, there's a bit of a damage issue going on for Team Spirit right now. So another great fight here from Liquid. 10k up. First time they've got a 5-digit lead in this series. And it doesn't look like they're going to drop it anytime soon either, right? It feels like if Spirit are going to turn this game around, they need to get some big items. The BKB on Earth Spirit is definitely a start. The type of fight that he will be looking for is one that extends so long that the enemy BKBs expire and that he just keeps Magnetize running on targets during it. But it's a difficult challenge to overcome for him.
Roche being attempted. In the meantime, Aposhka is going to get another struck, but Zai, it is a 3v1. Well, I feel like he's going to get out because, again, Spirit Breaker. It's a 4v1, in fact. My goodness. Collapse was looking for the anchor, but yeah, BKB is going to prevent all that.
And in the meantime, Nisha will be grabbing the Aegis of the Immortal, choosing not to put it on Weaver here. I feel very confident that Mickey can stay alive. I think this is a little bit dangerous to the extent that Mickey is playing very aggressively on his Weaver for now, and if he does get caught by some sort of Ravage combination where everything is available and Earth Spirit gets to chain all of his spells with his BKB, I think he can die. But I guess the same could be said for the Pango, so maybe it's kind of... just pick your poison, you know?
Yeah, Misha, looks like that is going to be the completed Aghanim Scepter on the way. So Shield Crash will now proc Swashbuckles, and very valuable item in general, as that 15 talent I would assume is Collapse being forced back. Still 4 minutes on that Aegis. Looks like the tier 2 tower will be the choice for Liquid. We'll see how many towers they can get. There's only one more tier 2 after this on the Spirit side in that mid lane. Zai. Nether Strike with the charge combo. Deadshot gonna miss on Mira though.
Oh, he's gonna live from
to
that.
walk away. We'll be able to blink to safety. TP with the charge.
Nice ward.
Caster curse by Cinder, and as usual, what a real pile.
I was like, he got really far away and he can maybe, you know, TP out, but there was a ward. So, nope. Just gets charged by 1,000 move speed Cal, and that is a fate I do not wish upon anyone.
It's very thick, very juicy.
Okay, that was not at all relatable to what I just said. That's fine.
You're talking about a cow, so I don't know. Collapse. It's going to be found by Zai. Ooh, blink out. Doesn't quite have the silver edge yet from Zai's side, so no break.
Closing in on it though. Kind of only need about 1,000 to go.
Yep,
Yashar is out picking flowers.
He buys his shard, so roll up is going to be available very soon for the mid laner on Liquid. As long as he doesn't get silenced, of course, that's what that Manta's for. Raposhka, slow to a crawl thanks to that shield crash. You can see the charge is coming as well. He's already used his dive. There's the calling, trying to use the Sunray to get to the high ground. He's going to get disrupted instead, and will die shortly after. And now the high ground
right into the ghost
attempt from Liquid. Is this too early? So 14K with 2 minutes on the Aegis. We've seen this go wrong for so many teams.
Make it with the Satanic is a way harder kill now than he was before.
That's true.
And looking at the damage it shares on Spirit, I think you can poke and prod, but you could also just really constrict the map, because the thing that becomes increasingly difficult now for the Dire team is when they don't really know the spread of the enemy team, it's difficult to find the meaningful team fight. Like maybe you can smoke up and find one kill on somebody, but that's not going to change the state of the game. What you're really looking for is a really great trade-off, and Toro is going to get bugged here.
A lot of minus armor. We'll take it out swiftly though, and walk away.
I was kind of expecting a charge there from Zai. Might have been on cooldown. Choose not to pursue regardless. They will just continue to farm up all the lanes as well as the jungles. And this is another benefit to Spirit Breaker. We've been talking about this hero a decent amount, but any hero that can farm their own side of the map and join fights within seconds, just have that as a huge advantage, right? On Spirit side, it is the Spectre. But Spectre's farming speed
Big
doesn't
smoke
quite
for Spirit. Can they find Mickey? The Ravage to start things out. He's dead. My goodness, that was quick.
Yep.
Now they kind of wish the Aegis was on him instead. He's going to have to wait 70 seconds and see how much Spirit can get out of this.
Yeah, this is what I mean, right? This is what Spirit can do. They can smoke many heroes and find one kill, and now what, right? Like, it's obviously a really big kill, killing the Weaver. They're going to be happy with it, but you're not changing the game state. You're not really going to be able to push out the waves. You're not going to be able to get control of the map. Now that Ravage is on cooldown, can play very aggressively as Team Liquid. Wouldn't be surprised to see them taking some opportunities themselves now, maybe with a smoke. Their Aegis will expire soon, but I don't think Pango is in any imminent danger without the Ravage. But if things just slow down and Spirit get that kill essentially for free, that's obviously good news for them. We'll be looking to do the same thing again in a minute and a half.
Yeah, one thing I will say is Spirit do have a very good Roshoff team.
Yes.
With the lineup that they have with the AoE, if you have to fight in that area, obviously they do have quite a big deficit, but I think hero-to-hero matchup, they match up very well in that area. But we'll see if that ends up coming to be, if they can try to contest this eventual second Roche. But for now, That kill onto Mickey was just a little blip on the radar of Liquid. They're in firm control of this game right now. You see Mira being spotted out. Will be taken out. Maposhka will be the first to go. Okay.
That was a gem, by the way.
Two supports dead for Spirit.
Gem on the deck. Maposhka's gem now in the hands of Zai, so Team Spirit recognizing that they have to try to take some risks of getting map control back, but get punished immediately, and that gem is just a big gold loss. And now Yatoro, Zai will only hit the illusion. Yatoro looks like he might be dodging the situation entirely. He's got to be really careful, though. Oh. If he had gone for a TP out there, that dead shot might have actually stopped it, and he could have died, but he chose to just run away on the right.
Yeah.
He does live, but the map is really a minefield right now for the side of Spirit. Very, very difficult.
You know, we don't get the opportunity to talk to the crowd too often, Syndrin. How many Spirit fans in the audience? Okay. How many Liquid fans in the audience? How many Seattle Supersonic fans in the audience? There we go. Don't worry, you guys will have a team in a couple years.
All right, so essentially the crowd is hoping for a finals of Liquid versus the Supersonic. Wonderful. I'm sure they'll get that eventually. Liquid is going to get into basketball anything.
Just had to make one reference for TI before I get fired, so
yep.
Appreciate that.
It's incredible. You get fired every year.
That is true. Keep coming back like a bad fungus. 19K lead for Liquid now, as they're just waiting for the old Roach. We'll know in about a minute how long of a spawn that will be, but with the lineup that they have, they can just push these waves consistently. Zai can be on opposite sides of the map. Very difficult to kill, regardless of his items, it feels like, and he certainly has some items. The smoke up right now from Liquid, so looking for a pick-off before the potential Roach will spawn.
Yeah, Spirit are trying to get some sort of safe zone, right? They just warded there, and they're playing around that vision, but it's immediately dewarded, and they just have to concede the area once again. So effectively, they went from having 15% of the map to 20%, and then they lost the 5% again.
Zai.
Very difficult.
There's the break. Another strike to follow. Big charge as well. His only at half HP is Yatoro, but no follow-up whatsoever.
Protection is there from Shadow Demon as well. Yatoro will retreat to base. Currently working on an Orchid. It's close to completion. Reckon he will... I mean, he probably wants to jump and kill the Pugna, but that's not even a possibility right now. Insania with the Eon Disc. Muerta has the Greaves against the Orchid, so that's not great either. It's tough, man. I feel like it's kind of hard to itemize in general for Spectre under these circumstances, because you kind of need a little bit of everything. And I suppose the mindset is we're going to itemize what is most impactful when BKBs drop. An Orchid can come into play there for sure. Now get the shard onto Earth Spirit, so I guess that geomagnetic grip on allies.
Boy, I haven't seen a team love Tormy as much as me until now. Spirit loves it. Liquid does not give a shit. It's 35 minutes in the game. They haven't even taken their own yet. Look at that.
Yeah, I think it's kind of natural for the winning team in this position to maybe not want to go there that much, because you don't want to give up position.
They're too good for it, is what you're saying.
I mean, you're essentially in such an offensive position that if you have to retreat to take the Tormentor, if the enemy team has any information that it's happening, you're kind of opening the door for them to take some control of the map back, so you just opt to not give them that chance. Might fall back for it later, but for now, they're going to reap the rewards of having utter domination of the map. They'll get the second Roche, Aegis and Cheese. Aegis going on Mickey this time around. And they'll put the Cheese into the backpack of Nisha. So recognizing, based on that previous kill, that, yep, Spirit can indeed burst our Weaver. Going to get that extra layer of protection. Mickey almost completing dataless now. I mean, I wonder if Liquid want to try to poke the high ground a little bit with this, or once again, if they feel like this will ever get out of hand, right? Like, how long do they need to give Spirit? Right?
Demonic Purge onto Zai. Do they have the damage, though? He's at half HP with that BKB already activated. Going in really deep. They pop the egg with the Sun Ray as well. The Ravage is being expended as well. He's getting healed now from Insania. This cow will live on. Vegans around the world rejoice. He lives. And now they're going to try to turn this around onto Yatoro. But Mickey, he's taking the brunt of the damage. That's already the Aegis down. Zai getting one more charge off. Eventually he will fall, though. So beef enjoyers enjoy, but Yatoro will drop as well, so there is a trade, and it's very heavy. 3 dead for the eventual kill onto the cow.
That was a really clutch save from Insania. Also a brilliant execution from Spirit, honestly. I did not think they were going to be able to pursue that Spirit Breaker kill at all, but clipping him on the edge of the Ravage and Sunray, that would have been a kill without Insania's save. And sure, they get him in the end, but it made them overextend so much further. And Liquid come in and get quite a bit of a cleanup. And this could open the door for the high ground. Obviously, Age is down, so you need to be a little bit careful on Mickey not to overcommit. But this time around, there won't be a Ravage.
Timeout down for 40 seconds. Tier 3 tower down, base exposed. Well, Collapse jumps in just to get the anchor. Looks like it was Lotus but to him instead. That's another fortification. That's the last one for a while here from Spirit's side. A little mistime on the Nether, or the Nether Blast. But you can see that Deso just doing absolute work. That is a melee racks down. As Collapse wants to go a little bit further, another 15 seconds for that.
Oh, that's
a very precarious spot. Trying to get to the high ground. He's going to get disrupted instead. You can see Laurel going in with that BKB and the Blade Mail as well. Still a lot of damage being applied, but no kills as of yet.
A Spectre about to spawn with a Shadow Step here.
Indeed, they just need a little bit of vision. Laurel trying to provide that onto Boxy. They've got to get something out of this, and they will. It's just the support. They lose their melee racks. It's going to cost them dearly.
Yeah, that looked like a bit of an awkward situation. I don't think Laurel meant to kick Collapse into the enemy team there, but they do get out alive on their tide still. Scary situation for them. Liquid with a good pickup of that melee racks, as you pointed out. And they still have their cheese. I don't know if they're going to consider this enough of an advantage to look for more, or if they're going to fall back into the...
I thought you were going to say enough of an advantage to go for block of cheese, the first ever in TI history.
Yeah, has that?
No.
Okay, have you seen a pro game with
Not one. Not one.
Okay.
I feel like of all people, I would have heard about it, so I'm just going to assume that it's never happened.
Yeah, maybe that needs to be a little bit easier to make, or
good. Just make it good, please. Zai is now level 25. Oh, he's got a Stormcrafter. That's some nice move speed and mana.
Goes for the 20% greater bash chance here, so now up to 37. He's decent attack speed as well with his Silver Edge.
He was broken by the creep temporarily. That's going to be broken by the counter step, but he's actually going to use his ult onto the other side. Beautifully done. They kill off Nisha right off the bat, and Zai, he's left kind of alone, but Mickey standing on the outskirts. The egg is placed with that Sunray being applied. Zai will charge away. So in the end, it looks like only one will be lost, although the chase is not completely over. Still a pretty damn big kill for Spirit.
The timing on that was actually pretty ridiculous. As Zai was opening on Yatoro, he Shadow Stepped over to the other kill. So not only did they kill the Pango, but they also saved their Spectre from a really awkward situation. So that could not have been any more perfect for Spirit. They get a kill and they get a tower. It's not the biggest of deals, but you know, they're staying afloat. The lead hasn't really grown very much, and you're seeing the win probability kind of not really shifting in the last 10 minutes, so give it enough time, it might just start dipping down slightly. And they're getting some pretty key items, right? So Laurel getting the Axe is obviously enormous, right? This is a key way of saving from the Spirit Breaker combination onto his Spectre. That is something that you cannot break, so as long as he's in position, which he should very easily be able to get with Rolling Boulder and BKB, save a target of his choosing and kick them out. Or they could use it to kick someone into terrible positioning because Liquid don't really have the best save. So just finding a support and kicking them 2,000 range away, they're probably just going to die on the spot.
Well, 41 minutes in, it's only one melee racks. And I know it's 18k lead, which is, like you said, it is somewhat substantial, but it hasn't really grown that much. So Spirit definitely fighting back, and the later this game goes, the more comfortable I'm saying that their lineup is just better, on paper at least, but
a lot Breaker's always such a wild card, but yeah, in this game, in this game at the very least, there are solutions that we'll see.
Oh my god, Collapse! Oh, he turns into stone though, nicely done. He's actually gonna live as a result, but it's gonna cost Laurel his life. Oh boy, that is not worth trading a position 2 for a 3 and a 5 now. Spirit down a 3v5, and they're going to lose more than just that range racks.
Did Mickey double crit there or something?
Couldn't tell you.
Tide almost instantly died. That was ridiculous, and that's okay. Well, we have all our theory crafting going about how late can this game go. Well, if you lose 2 heroes like that without buyback, you're going to get mega'd now. I don't think Spirit have any hopes of defending this without... Oh, actually, Earth Spirit buyback did come up, so maybe you could go for some sort of a hold with 4 heroes here, but this is going to be really, really difficult to pull off.
Sure is. The Ravage to start. There's the buyback as well. The Egg with the Sun Ray. In addition, Zai.
Oh, they actually got him.
They actually deleted Mickey. Somehow locked him down 100 seconds without their Weaver now. Can Liquid get away without any other casualties, though? Boxy, he's going to get anchored. Gonna have to fight his way out of this one. Looks like Zai wants to continue on. Gets off the charges. Lars will pop his BKB. BKB's galore, in fact. There's the Rolling Thunder from Nisha with the roll-up. Being used to lock several heroes down from Spirit, but they do lose their support in the end. And a nice roll onto the high ground. Finds Insania. Eon Disc will just delay the inevitable. So 3 kills in favor of Spirit. They defend what looked undefendable and indefendable,
that was
whatever the word.
Super close to being 4 kills because the Pango Collapse cast Hex during the end of that Rolling Thunder, and it expired just before the Rolling Thunder did the Hex duration. So otherwise he would have been caught on his TP out, and that could have turned into something big for Spirit. I mean, it's still pretty solid given the circumstances. We're now kind of back to the gold that we had before, the 18k lead, but you're down another lane of barracks, so there's going to be more problems on the map for Spirit to solve. And still, given the circumstances, that could have just been the end of the game instead. So I guess you got to take the small victories where you can get them.
Yeah, Collapse with that Meteor Hammer. Going to be able to take out this tier 2 tower, looks like. And need to go for the anchor smash on buildings, by the way.
They find Yatoro.
Yatoro. Disruption's going to keep him safe for the time being. In fact, it saves him in the end.
Oh, Demonic Purge.
Okay. Demonic Purge applied to him. Collapses in the area. Now the big charge from Zai trying to keep the rest of Spirit at bay, but the anchor's applied to the Pangolier. That is a dead Nisha. Does have buyback. Could just wait it out. Still had the cheese as well. Zai and company trying to find more than just the Shadow Demon. They're going to find the Pochka. Looks like he's donezo. Oh, just barely getting out. Was the tide. So Collapse does live. So lots of back and forth in this game number 2. But a huge kill on Tandy. I feel like when either team just finds one hero isolated, they just get deleted instantly.
Yeah, this can snowball very quickly in fights for both teams. You see the quick kill on Pango. The good news for Liquid in that situation was that Supernova wasn't ready, so they were able to collapse onto the Phoenix and bring him down. Love the purchase of Lincoln's, by the way, on him identifying, okay, I mean, we have to just start solving the Spirit Breaker. This is not an item you will usually see Phoenix buy after Yules, but it's probably the best choice you have in this game, so you just try to stay afloat. That was also a refresher reveal from Collapse there, so a lot being expended from Spirit, and honestly not really the best result, right? Considering that they found the Pango kill first. I don't think that went as well as they would have hoped, and now they're also going to lose the Roach. They have no Ravages, so this is completely uncontestable. See who gets to pick up the goodies. There will be a refresher card on this.
Will Zai have 2 refreshers? No. Not yet, at least.
What do you give it to?
Well, Boxy will hold on to it for
holding
now.
it, yeah. So he'll have 2 pierces of the Veils. Not really the best hero in this game for the refresh. I feel like maybe he should pass it on.
I think he's acting
probably holding it for Pango, right?
Yeah, he's being a courier right now, for sure.
You would think so.
So they do have the 2 cheeses still. So block of cheese enjoyers out there rejoice. Definitely a possibility.
What if you got 4 cheeses, then you got a bigger cheese?
The big cheese?
Yeah. Does this look... No, actually, it's not a quarter, is it? It's like a 1/6 or an 1/8. That's a good idea. Block of cheeses, too easy to make. Let's make it 8 cheeses. We've had some games this tournament that could have almost...
It could have, yeah, could have. As we have the smoke now from Liquid, supporting this 25k lead. It's all about the buyback situation, especially for Spirit, because Liquid will likely just be in their base.
Yep.
The engagement has been actually expended here.
They're still holding on to the refresher in Boxy's backpack. I mean, the calling is a pretty filthy spell, and having 2 of them back-to-back is very good, but I still think that Pango would want it. Anyway, here comes the Siege Tower. Will be falling to just the Siege creeps.
Mickey's going to show himself. Back away. to be very careful here. Despite having 2 cheeses in the Aegis, we have seen a lot of high grounds get punished.
Yep. And Yotaro is huge. It's worth keeping in mind. This is a level 26 Spectre with 6 slots. There's still a bit of room to grow, but he is very, very strong. Wants to finish his Abyssal Blade, and then we're maybe replace the treads, and then we're at the maximum output.
Yeah, he has Nullifier and Bloodthorn.
Yeah, he can kill this Pugna very fast. Can kill anyone really fast, essentially, if they just find the Ravage opener. Liquid are very cognizant of that fact. Maybe you just let the Nether Blast do the work, step by step.
Yeah, you'd think that with the Dark Willow we saw the other day. Basically a trebuchet from a global range, and you still lose the game. There's the Ravage, he's gonna try to put everything onto Mickey. That's just the Aegis, though. He is surrounded. Zai coming in with the charge. Misha with the Rolling Thunder as well. The egg is placed. Do Liquid actually want to stick around? They used a couple of ults just to try to be able to fight this. Is Zai able to charge out with that refresher? Boxing to pop his ult, trying to apply as much pressure as possible, but now he's in no man's land. He's going to use the refresher shard that we were really theory crafting.
Ah, yes, the refresher pike that we all thought was going to be.
Oh, dear. So Aegis,
all right,
shard gone.
Yeah, they do hold on. Collapse refreshed his Ravage and didn't have mana for it, so that could have probably gone a lot better for Spirit than it did, which is kind of scary news for Liquid, right? You have all these advantages, you're trying to push high ground, and despite only 1 Ravage coming out, you still didn't get anything out of it. And I love this from Spirit, you know, take some initiative, play on the second Ravage that you have, you know there's no Aegis. Maybe you can catch them before the BKBs come off cooldown again, and that would lead to a really big moment for you. Spectre can take care of the base, Shadow Step at the ready.
Oh, Aghanim Scepter for Zai. Beautiful. Level 27.
Oh, boy.
That's okay.
Okay, well.
Oh, Bounty Rune. Don't mind if I do.
OpenAI would have killed him there, but that's the kind of reactions you needed.
Yep, true. Next time, ask ChatGPT to play your game of Dota for you. Misha, Rolling Thunder. He's actually going to get it off. Gets the stun up to 2 as well as Mickey trying to apply as much pressure, but there's a disruption, mitigating a lot of the damage here. But now the pressure being applied to Mira, who dies and now buys back. Decrepify. Onto Yotaro. He's going to get onto the high ground safely. Not a whole lot was lost, but Spirit, that's 1 support buyback that they have to worry about is Boxy getting gone on now by Yotaro. Nice dead shot. Keeping him at bay. Looks like he'll get away safely as well, so I think this might be a next Roche situation for Liquid.
It's
really hard to go high ground.
It is really difficult.
I mean, if you find the Shadow Demon again, that's can't buy back, so maybe that's the main target in this next fight.
Absolutely. He's the best kill they can possibly get, and he dies very fast if anything connects on him. So it's just a matter of getting 1 charge connection, or a couple of swings from the Weaver might just kill him from 100 to 0. It's worth keeping in mind that Miro doesn't have a defensive item. He has Blink Dagger, no Aeon Disc, no Ghost Scepter, nothing of that sort to try to stay alive against some of these hard-hitting heroes. So positioning is everything.
Tormy, number 3, if my count is correct. Yotaro will get that shard. Which means, does everybody have one now on their team? No. Mira does not. Wow, the support. After all that, the support still didn't get a shard. That's a lot of 50-50s that is lost.
Yeah, I think they would actually kind of like to have the Demonic Cleansing.
Yep. Oh, Liquid are like, oh, I forgot this existed. Okay. Insania, enjoy your worthless shard.
I mean, maybe they watched BetBoom's games and just came to the conclusion that it's too dangerous.
Yeah.
The Tormentor has killed BetBoom more times than they have killed that.
They have buffed this Pugna shard over the course of the last couple of years, so it's certainly better than it used to be.
More cast range on the Nether Ward, you can drain into it.
I mean, it was either that or the Muerto one, which as a support... Oh, she already has it, actually. Box already has it. They must have killed Tormy already.
It's okay, the support, or the shard on the supports, but...
It's no grab ally, that's for sure. Although, Toronto Tokyo literally never bought the shard in an 80-minute game.
Yeah, that was...
He doesn't want to stun his teammates, I guess. They don't know how to click out of that tombstone.
He had bigger items to get.
Yeah.
He wanted to set the world record for most health on a hero in a pro game, which he might have actually done.
That's true. The shard doesn't help with that.
I think he got 14k health at one point in the game. So might have not been the one today, because he had another game as well where he had the same build on Dying.
Absolutely absurd. Giant's Ring, Heart, Aghanim Scepter. Beefy boy indeed. Nisha now with a double damage bottled. And if they can hold on to this for the next Roche off, which could be in the next minute, that would be huge.
Love the placement from Zai here. He's literally just a smoke breaker, waiting for any sort of opportunity as well to maybe pounce. He will go here.
Yeah, there's the charge to start things out for Zai. Looking for another strike, but the disruption is there. He's going to get cleansed now. He's already at half HP. He's going to pop his refresher, try to get away. The Rolling Thunder's now in with Nisha. Able to do too much damage, focusing all their efforts on the Laurel, who's kind of on the sidelines. He's going to turn himself into stone to stay alive. They lose the Shadow Demon, though. Now the roll away from Laurel, being pursued by Mickey, who still has double damage. Collapse, almost gets insta-give, and now the charge is there to try to finish him off, and he does so successfully. Will buy back 2 members of Spirit with still with their ultimate, so Ravage is still available. Looks like they're going to be able to sacrifice Insania here. Yotaro's kind of all alone. Insania now, BKB, okay. Will he die? The nullifier's there to finish him up with Yotaro. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? You're getting surrounded yourself. The dead shot, he's stuck inside the trees, and he is dead. 100 seconds of no Spectre. The Ravage finally comes out. So 2 members of Liquid do die, but they're ancient exposed from the Spirit side.
He was zoning 3 heroes for like 10 seconds.
And Mickey looking at the rest of the buildings here to ensure victory in this game number 2 for Team Liquid. 2 buybacks now from Liquid's side. Mega creeps in their favor, and now it's a 5 versus 3 without the carry from the side of Spirit. The Ancient being exposed. All they have to do is right-click that with that Desolator until his GGs are called. This series is going to game 3, which I'm glad to see because it deserves it.
Yeah, really nice bounce back from Liquid. After that first game, they solved their problems from that first game very elegantly here with a couple of adjustments in the draft, right? They went away from this high cooldown reliant, big ball kind of strategy that they ran there, and now they're playing more skirmishy, they're playing more loose, more freely, and do a wonderful job. All their lanes went pretty well. They transitioned well into that mid game and started building up. And I don't know, man. I feel like Spirit Breaker needs to be addressed by these teams. Whether it wins or loses, this hero just looks so insanely impactful and like an absolute nuisance to deal with. Spirit definitely brought something to the table here to try to solve it. They got the Shadow Demon out. They played with the Earth Spirit with all these stuns and the Spectre who could connect, and still Zai ends up having a monster of a game. And sure, he dies sometimes, but think about how much space this hero demands in the game, right?
How many bans do you get in the first phase?
7 in total. 4 for one team, 3 for the other.
How many bans do you need to finally ban Spirit Breaker? Like, what's the magic numbers?
I mean, it's been banned in a lot of games, to be fair, right? Just today, we've seen it run in 2 series. I feel like it's not going to be making another appearance today, but we'll see. You never know. Maybe there's other solutions that the teams have up their sleeves. This one didn't work, though.
All right. Well, let's see what the panel has to say about the meaty Spirit Breaker.
Yeah, just ban him. That's what I say. Thank you very much, Sunsvan and Cinder. And we're going to break this game down. I also want to say, though, for the first time in Climate Pledge Arena, we're going to a game 3, and that is a win in everybody's book. So excited for that. I know we got a couple biased panelists going on right here, but we're gonna sing the praises of Team Liquid on this one, Matu.
Take it away,
my friend.
Just putting me on the spot like that. I see how it is. I mean, yeah, there's a reason why I called Liquid is going to win this game, obviously, and it wasn't because I root for them. It was because, like, the Weaver, obviously, and the Spirit Breaker are just so good at creating this, like, early game pressure, and Team Spirit banked on, like, the game going way later, and Liquid just punished that. I mean, it was an easy game, as you can see here.
The key thing for me, my big takeaway, of course, it being an easy game from the words of Matu, is Spirit Breaker clearly doesn't care about anything, right? Like, he's playing into an SD. He's playing into, like, Phoenix, Tide, like, all these heroes that in some way, shape, or form have counter plays to make. It doesn't matter. He's still going to eventually become top net worth. He's going to breeze through these spells. Worst case, he tanks all of them, and then a Weaver pops off or a Pango pops off. So, yeah, Spirit Breaker, first pick in the draft. not really shut down too much, and gets to obliterate the game. And I think I'd love to see how aggressive Liquid was. Like, this was what they needed to do, and they subscribed to this idea the entire time, right? We were looking for the fight. Insania on his Pugner, just amping everyone up, pushing them forward, keeping them topped up. It was a refreshing way to play out a game right now.
A refreshing way. We talked about at the start of the draft, like, oh, maybe they should, you know, lower the priority of the Spirit Breaker to not put it core, but indeed Zai made it work fantastically together with the rest of his team. Chief.
There's just so many ways you can make it work. It's the thing is you don't have to be near Shadow Demon for starters, right? You can be pushing out the other lanes, you can be getting pickoffs away from him, and then even when he is there, it's sort of like your cooldowns are so much lower than his. You have Zai rushing an Octarine core that he gets at 18 minutes. Later on, he's going to go back and get like a Lincoln Sphere, he's going to get a refresher. He's basically making sure that everything he has is just on uptime. Even if he gets, you know, even if he has to tank those spells from Shadow Demon, it really doesn't matter because he's taking it away from his other cores, and then he's just going to have his spells back up to go in again as soon as it ends, while Shadow Demon's waiting for a minute or wherever for his own cooldown.
Yeah, we are going to talk a lot about the game we just saw and about the game that's coming up. But I was looking around and we saw, oh, I see them. I see them. I was looking around to see if we can catch Slacks and Tsunami because we're going to head over to them. They are in the crowd right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. We're enjoying the games, but I thought it's an opportunity to enjoy the gamers that are out here, because here in the Climate Pledge Arena, we've got some real Dota super fans out here.
Absolutely, and they're excited to see that Game 3, am I right?
But the other thing that's interesting is that a lot of you play your own Dota games, and we actually took an opportunity to look into some of the details and learn some of the interesting stories about our audience here in the Climate Pledge Arena. For example, did you know, currently, there is someone in the audience right now who has played every hero once this year, except Beastmaster.
Why? What's wrong with Beastmaster?
He sucks.
Okay, good answer. I mean, that guy's right, apparently.
Meta-defining analysis in this audience as well. Let me give you another one.
Sure.
There is one person in this audience who has played 75% of their games on Pudge.
I like how so many people were like, that was probably me. Yeah, awful, toxic. Now, we have someone really special. Can we please take our camera to seat number 2647? 2647. Go with the camera, please go. Please go.
Keep panning.
Okay, zoom in.
Keep panning.
There we go.
A little bit more.
And there, yeah, right there, right there.
You
that
there.
guy in, yeah,
Yes, you.
yeah. The most commends in Dota 2 in the audience right there. Congratulations, the most commended. A round of applause. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know who the hell that is.
You don't know that? Come on. That's just some random.
Just some random. But I do have one actually super special person that I'm going to go find right now. This one's on you, buddy. Give us some more facts. I'll be right back.
Okay. You go investigate. We're looking for people with interesting stories. So actually, throughout the entirety of this event, we may actually reach out to you because we've got these outlier players and we've got some statistics on the crowd as a whole. My friend, who do you think is the most played hero out of everyone in this audience?
Pudge?
Safe bet, but not the case. It's actually a support hero. I'm looking most played hero this year. Who we got?
Witch Doctor? Yeah. Witch Doctor?
It is Witch Doctor! Well done, well done. All right, let's go to the other end. Who is the least played hero in this arena? Any names? You there. Who did you say?
Chen.
That is correct. Not a particularly hot take. I'm pretty sure for the dawn of time, Chen is the least picked hero. I'll give you one more. There are 3 players in the audience that have given out over 1,000 commands. Is that earned? I don't think that there are that many Maynard players in Dota. You're just handing these out like candy. Have some respect for your commands. And I believe Slacks has now found someone with a very interesting story.
Thank you, Tsunami. Yes, I am here with a very special man. What is your name, sir?
Brian.
Brian. Now, you've been to a TI before?
I have. 5.
5 of them? Which ones? Name them immediately.
5, 6, 7, 8, 11, and this one.
Well, that's extremely easy. All right, fantastic. I thought you were going to put a bunch of random ones. So we've been looking out in the arena for some outliers that are attending right now, and you are one of these outliers, my friend. Do you have any idea why we've collected you?
No, not really.
Okay, well, fantastic. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have some news for you. Brian here has played one of the highest percentage of Dark Willow games out of everyone in the arena. In fact, 93% of the games that this man has played in the last several months have been on Willow. You are in the top of the entire arena. Why?
I like people to hate me.
Okay. How are you feeling? Do you have any advice out there for the pro teams as a man who has more top 1% of the Willow games in this entire thing, including the pro players?
Just be a jerk.
Carry Willow, good or bad?
Oh, if you can last long enough, it's really good.
Okay, fantastic. All right, well, thank you, sir. Yeah. Did you ever think that you were playing that much Willow, that you outclassed every single other person in the arena?
I had no idea.
Well, keep going, you sick freak. I love it, my friend. Thank you so much. Now, don't forget, if you guys want to, you will be receiving an email if we find out that you're one of the outliers here like Brian. We won't tell you what it is, but you can come and we can show the world your sick, twisted stuff. Thank you, Mr. Hero Spammer. How much MMR have you gotten from Willow?
Oh, I play unranked only.
Smart guy. All right, check out those emails, baby. We're looking for you.
And if you're wondering how Slacks and Tsunami know all of that, all the badges are linked to a Steam account, which you should do. If you don't do it, you should do it, because that's your chance for Crimson Witnesses if you're in the arena. But yeah, that means all your Dota history is open to Slacks and Tsunami, which could be a blessing or a curse. We're going to find out. We're also going to find out which team will get a blessing or a curse here, as in the lower bracket, Gaming Gladiators is awaiting their opponent, and it's going to be either Team Liquid or Team Spirit. It's tied. It's 1-1. We've seen both teams win one, and both teams won with first pick. So we talked a little bit about that before the previous game, but I feel, Sheep, this might be a very important thing going into this third one.
Yes, it will. It would be sad if the final game was decided on a coin flip. Hopefully not. It's actually quite funny. I remember BetBoom specifically saying when the patch had come out for a little bit, they were like, yeah, there's so much disagreement within our team on like if first pick is better or second pick is better. Nightfall was like, I'm fairly sure first pick is better. And now look at where we are at TI. Every single team takes first pick. As soon as, if you win that flip, first pick. And if you don't take it, you're griefing the game.
Or just don't pick Tidehunter. That's the other option, right?
No, yeah, 0% win rate
pick
here on this series.
Yeah, please no Tide.
Yeah,
no Tide? Okay, anything else you don't want to see in this game?
I don't really know, to be honest. I just think the game is going to revolve around like Liquid trying to break through Team Spirit's creep. Team Spirit is playing this style that just come to us. If we're going to have like uncontested farm for 30 minutes, we're going to win. But Liquid's probably going to just look to break that, and we'll see if they'll manage to do that.
Now, there's one thing in the previous game that stood out to me. It was a fairly long game still, right? And this was a game where Team Liquid was supposed to have tempo, and they did. They won the lanes, they took the fights after that, and it took a very long time for them to actually be able to close the game out. And that is not necessarily on Team Liquid. That seems to be a trend throughout the entire international. But surely that is something that you can also draft yourself an easier path in T, because going high ground is always difficult. I feel like you can help yourself with that, with the draft.
You can, for sure. And I think this argument about going high ground is mainly on the opponent you're facing. Like, for example, Spirit, if they had one more element of early game aggression, then going high ground for Liquid would be a lot harder, because the fights that they take on the map would be more difficult. They'd have slightly less resources and items. So when they do break the high ground, it's a little bit harder. But what you're seeing from teams like Liquid in this game, gaming when we had the listen-ins with Quinn, the logic is, don't try and go high ground with 10k, go 20k, 30k, get 40k gold, and then you break down your opponent. And I think that's what we're seeing some of these Western European teams do, at least a little bit, when they know they can't simply break the base.
Yeah, but in that previous game, it will also make sure that Team Spirit, they had the Spectre. traditionally Spectre is always, you know, ultimate late game hero. Is that just not the case, Matu?
The nature of the game is the game gets decided in 15-30 minutes. So even if you are the earlier lineup and the game goes later, but you're controlling the map and getting more resources, so that way your heroes scale better. So it's all about that, because like with early game lineups, you don't necessarily need to end the game. You just need to control the game.
That's true. If you go later, though, you also have a higher chance of potentially throwing the game, which is also always a risk. And speaking of throwing, T's going to practice his throwing arm right now.
Yeah.
I think he needs to lose his headset for a little bit first, because this is going to be a serious ordeal. He actually has practiced the everything, his arm, his shoulder. I don't know, will your jacket not prevent you from using the full range of your arm movement? You choose. All right, let's see how far he can get this one then.
Throw it at the meepo guy. Throw it at the meepo guy.
Ooh, okay, that's like fourth row, you know?
No, not that one.
No, that one. That's a candle, by the way, if you're wondering. A candle that you can get in the secret shop. As the players are taking the stage once again for the third game, Tiga will throw his final keychain, and then we soon will be ready to go into game number 3. And I want an objective answer here, Sheep, because with having both teams, that's why I asked you and not Matu. No. We've seen a lot from these two teams, and both teams coming into this upper bracket semifinals with only dropping 1 game total. We saw Team Spirit drop it against Virtus Pro. Team Liquid in the groups dropped a game to Azure. They now obviously dropped a game against each other. But do you feel like there would be a clear winner this game if you would play this out in the best of 7, whatever?
Best as in like
just in terms of skill. Yeah, if you don't take into account first pick, basically that's where I went.
I think in these 2 losses we just watched, I don't think they brought out the best draft that they could. I'm looking at Will right now.
Yeah.
He's looking at us. Tell him.
He is
Tell
actually.
Oh yes.
Hello.
Hello,
All right.
William. Don't draft
You
shit.
can see him waving in the crowd. That's lovely. Anyway, yes, no, I actually think they're pretty evenly skilled. I don't think the drafts they had during the losses were like the best thing that they could have put out there to lose. Like if they both had 2 even drafts, I don't know if there would be like a clear winner. I think they would be even.
It feels like both of these teams are being the ones that's more proactive, that's showing how world-class they are, because they're not falling victim to their own misplays that other teams are doing when they're trying to be aggressive. Like a Spirit with CK in these game 1, obliterate the map. Axe obliterates the map. Game 2, you got Weaver, Spirit Breaker, you get the early lead. They don't make mistakes. They get 3-4 Roshans, they secure the game, right? So I feel like these are the 2 type of teams that they can win out games much quicker than others because they are so disciplined. So the draft is so important for these 2 teams.
And it's a reason they did well so during this year. These teams usually don't throw games. If they get an advantage, that's actually one of the things that I thought. When you get an advantage, you should not give it away. You should just play the most safe you can, and usually it will amount to a victory.
Yeah, and that means we do have longer games, people just don't want to risk it, and that makes 100% sense. Now, one thing that we talked about before we started game number 2, Matu, is the mid lane. We wanted Team Liquid to remove some of Laurel's heroes, like the Kunkka. For example, we saw him play Earth Spirit, and we heard Tsunami say it. The last time he played it was like, I mean, it must have been like, what was it, September, maybe August, a long time ago.
I'd be down. Just ban Invoker Kunkka. William, can you hear me? Invoker Kunkka.
I don't think he can hear
Imagine if he actually could hear you there.
The thing is, I feel like when he looked at us, he was smiling as if he got first pick. That's how I feel right now.
That's true.
It's like, that's why he was looking at us.
Do we have that information? Are they first pick?
We don't have that information yet. You gotta wait and see.
The excitement it builds.
I do think that they adapted very well with their bans though. Going from game 1 to game 2, I think banning out that Kunkka was the most important thing for me. And if they do end up with these last pick this time around, they'll have the 4 bans, and I would like to see them take away that Phoenix and that Kunkka with the extra ban.
And with the pickup with Pango on the side of Nisha, I feel like Pango has been getting a bad name, guys, this event.
He deserves it, to be fair. Like, let me double check the win rate, but I'm pretty sure earlier, before the start of today, he had 33 games, 33% win rate.
Yeah, but
and that's a TI hero, by the way.
That's not great.
But
that's not great.
But the teams that are winning with it are the good teams.
I feel like he had a
Great shot there. Yes.
Thank you. Analyst here coming in. Sorry, Matt, to continue.
No, you go for it. Actually, just pick up my point and we'll see what you come up with. Anyway, last game it had a clear purpose. Pango is a great hero to break the other team's formation because he creates chaos. Spirit Breaker creates chaos. Spirit wants to play like ABC. We're gonna egg, we're gonna click spells on the egg, protect the egg, and it's gonna be like all the 5 pieces of the puzzle need to be there. But when you have Pango and the Spirit Breaker in the mix, they're gonna break that. So
it's a great disruptor in that sense. Not the hero, but just the overall effect of the hero. And we did see that in action. I feel like one thing that Team Liquid lacked in previous game, if I may say so, might be the old team fight heroes. I mean, it worked out, don't get me wrong, but from a viewer's perspective, I love the big 5-on-5 team fights. And it seemed like Team Liquid just trying to avoid them.
Yeah, I think we have shifted slightly away from teams going for like the standard look of a draft, right? And I think when you look at Spirit's lineup, that is kind of your classic approach, but Liquid is slightly unconventional, I guess.
Yeah, let's find out what's gonna happen in this final game of this best of 3.
Team Spirit's turn to ban.
Team Spirit versus Team Liquid. Game 3.
Here we go, the third game, the deciding game here of this best of 3. And I will tell you, it is Team Liquid that gets first pick, and they have Dire side this time around. Team Spirit will be on the Radiant side with second pick, and then also overall last.
Oh, look at that, so awesome. I mean, Boxy was carrying that previous game, finishing the game 9-3-18.
Yeah, let's see. All right, so we got the changes that are non-existent at the moment. Actually, no, there's obviously Spirit Breaker banned. That's the best change we could have wished for. We still have on the side of Team Liquid the Enchantress and the Kunkka banned. Previously, Team Spirit banned out Bristleback, Treant, and Chaos Knight. We'll see which one of Treant Protector and Chaos Knight they'll still end up banning, as they will still have one left. On the side of Team Liquid, they banned out Brewmaster, and again, I mean, to be honest, you need to ban out Brewmaster against Team Spirit because Collapse Brew is just stupid good.
I suppose if you're Spirit, you could not ban the tree because, okay, well, never mind. Whatever. I was going to say they could potentially leave the tree, and then if Liquid want to take it, they can respond with the Phoenix because they like it so much, because Liquid are most likely going to ban Brewmaster again, but whatever. They are holding it again. Last time they ate into their reserve time. Oh, they take Phoenix out.
And they go for the Brewmaster themselves.
Yeah, they gotta do it. They ban out the Phoenix, which I think is well deserved. We've seen Team Spirit with it twice now, and especially game number 1, of course, very strong. Game number 2 would have been very strong, but that didn't mean that Team Liquid had to pick up that Pango, which maybe they don't want to be having to rely on anymore. And Brewmaster Matu is in a really good place right now.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I understand. Don't really know myself, but it's a good hero.
Good hero. It's all good.
I mean, it's still kind of like an old school Brewmaster to some degree. Super potent. Obviously, you can go for like some earned vessel. I think because games go longer as well on the hero, you're not in this awkward spot where you need to itemize so early, and then you're an active brew that falls off. People like to buy Midas on it. They're not punished as much. So you kind of have just ways to play out the hero. And yeah, I think anytime you have an offlaner that can hit level 6, instantly kill the carry, and just basically put fear into your opponent every time you have an ultimate, it's a pretty good hero.
I mean, theoretically, if you're talking Brewmaster is a good hero, okay, back in my day, Brew was always a bad hero. So I'm on the fence here, but if it's a good hero, it's very nicely set up, because all the like natural predators of Brewmaster are gone already. Kunkka is banned, Phoenix is banned, Bristleback is banned, even like Spirit Breaker is good against that hero. So I don't feel like there's many answers left for Brew in the pool.
Yeah, they go for the Grimstroke, so they have at least the bug, a little bit of silence to try and prevent the split. Especially when you throw it onto your support, it's just a cheap way to punish him. The worst thing is when you see a Brew first pick and you rely on your cores to lock him down, because then when your supports are smoking up looking for the gank, you're never going to get that kill. So already Spirit trying to answer it very, very slightly there.
Yeah, it does mean that the... sorry, Sheep, go continue.
No, it's fine. I was just going to say, I think as well what makes him so powerful is the versatility of his item build. The fact that we see Brewmasters playing maybe with like a Vlad's and a Vessel, which I've seen. And then also you have your greedier Brewmasters going like Midas, Radiance. You can kind of play him whatever way you want to fit your lineup. It's no like, okay, we have Brew, that's a greedy core. It's like, it can do anything. Its spells are so silly. The amount of like resistance you get through his stances is way overtuned.
That being said, versatility in the hero, yes, but we know for sure that it's going to go Zai. Is there any chance that it's going to be played somewhere else? No, right? I mean, nah,
Like,
people shaking heads. Nah, it's an offlane, so there's not a lot of flex potential in that one. That being said, Grimstroke, we know it's going to be a support. Both Mira and Miposhka play it, so we don't know exactly where. Is it needed to get a combo with the Grimstroke nowadays?
I think the combo from the Grimstroke is less about the Soulbind and more about using the Inkswell.
Okay.
And just throwing bodies in to utilize that stun, get your shard, and kind of get into the fight. And I think anytime you have a Soulbind combo, it's more like a, oh, nice, it's there, but you're not drafting for it. And yeah, for Liquid at least, with this Brewmaster, I'd like to see some Willow, some Sky, just some really strong, powerful 4 position, so that you actually get Brew a couple kills in lane, you hit that 6 timing, and you can take the fight to your opponent.
We got the Pugna band out on the side of Team Spirit, and 2 heroes removed on the side of Team Liquid that would do exactly what you just said, T, with the Tusk and the Chaos Knight. They would work best with the Inkswell. So we got those out of the pool, and it's Team Spirit's turn to pick, and this is, I believe, one of the few times, and one of the first times in this series that both teams go into this second pick phase with this much bonus time left, which I think is a good sign. It means the teams generally are pretty happy with what they've got, and I see Matu nodding along as the Weaver gets picked up.
I mean, I love Weaver personally. I felt like even in the last game he did great. I mean, you could see the damage output this hero puts out on a Planner. Planner just disappeared from the face of the earth. It was 3k HP tied, late game, just gone in 1 second. It was like, that's crazy.
Yeah, and if you rewind all the way to the first game of today, Game of Gladiators against Nouns, we did see the Weaver versus Brewmaster matchup. And of course, Weaver is Weaver favored, right? You can disengage from the Brewmaster, you always chase him down, you're bullying him in lane, especially when you throw the Grimstroke as well, you don't actually have a stun to threaten him. The Brew just can't TP out to the Weaver aggression. So if they do opt to go for that, it is a tried and tested successful lane against the Brew off lane.
And on the other side, if they do want to put it as support, we've seen Grim Weaver support this tournament at the very least once. I saw it, and it was nice because the Weaver could go for the Solar Crest, and which makes him able to use the Inkswell, right? Like usually Weaver at the beginning of the game, he's very squishy, not really able to just kind of sit on top of a hero and utilize that spell. But with the Solar Crest, he can, and you are very effective at using the Twin Gates and rotating onto these lanes because the Shikuchi means that you're so fast. You can do so much. You can even like go mid and then get back to your side lanes very quickly. You can utilize your invisibility to get into like the triangle and put deep wards down there. Like the effectiveness of a good Weaver support is mwah, chef's kiss.
Yeah, Team Liquid is thinking about how to deal with the Weaver because we've seen it be very good, but how do you deal with it if it's indeed slightly broken? Like what do you play against it? In the past it was always silences that are good.
Bloodseeker is good if it's a good hero. There's always like these Giga carries, Faceless Voice, they're always the best against Weaver. But something tells me like Yatoro doesn't come to the stage and just play Weaver second pick. It's like, that's not his jam. He wants to get last pick or second last pick. Pick me that Faceless Void or a Spectre last pick. And it's like, something doesn't really happen. Like the picture is fake for me right now. Like,
Also,
I don't quite believe it.
They haven't played it yet, so we don't know where it's gonna go. They haven't played it yet at this international, that is. So we'll see where they'll end up with. And we got a Dark Willow picked up on the side of Team Liquid, and we should know where that's going to go. Because so far it's only been Boxy that plays it, and I don't know, I mean, has Mickey been playing it? Should we consider it? Oh, speaking of disruption, that's the real disruptor right there.
Yeah, and this is the joy of when you have like a little mini meta developing in it between a team, right? Spirit takes the Weaver away from Liquid, and now it's like, okay, what's the counter to Weaver? And sure, currently, Disruptor's not played at all, but it's an old school counter to Weaver. When he Sakuchi's in, throw down that Static Storm, contain him with that Kinetic, and then on top of that, you go for a Willow, which in laning phase, the routes, the ways to prevent Weaver from just freely Sakuchiing, he's going to have to think a little bit more as he moves around. Both supports are going to be quite potent for the Weaver, but if you go with Matu's point, then if there is a little bit of disguise in this Weaver, then you've just picked two supports to do nothing to potentially a 4-position Weaver if that is Spirit's inevitable angle.
I mean, we'll see. We don't know yet, right?
Holding.
I just feel like Disruptor Willow Brewmaster would be an open invitation for myself to pick Faces Forward, or like another hard carry that doesn't really care about these heroes. I mean, Weaver does, to an extent, care about them. So
Why Faceless Void? Is it the BKB timing that makes him...
Yeah, I mean, so like Weaver is not a natural BKB hero, although you will buy it eventually, but I feel like a hero that goes earlier BKB will just like, okay, I mean, we have these heroes that do absolutely nothing to me.
That's fair, yeah. I can see like the Liquid approach of we're going to hit level 6 Disruptor and we'll just run at Faceless Void over and over and over again that could be abused, but yeah, that BKB timing would put an easy stop to that.
Yeah, I will say Disruptor fits very well in the story that we've been telling so far about which team is doing better, because we've been saying, you know, whichever team gets ahead on the laning stage is going to do well, and they're going to play very safe and get further ahead before they eventually close the game out. And Disruptor is considered to be the best hero to play when you're ahead from the laning stage. It also comes with the caveat that if you're behind on the laning stage, the hero sucks.
Yeah, you're a hero that wants to play forwards, right? And oh, a little bit of Tiny. I mean, again, a cool little combo with Grimstray, but going back to the Disruptor, it does help when you're playing with a Brewmaster, because Brew will always set up the vision for you to get that glimpse to find those opportunities. So it shouldn't be a difficult game to see Insania pop off and drag heroes back. And a Ricky. No one saw that one coming.
Aha! Jesus, how long have you been sitting on that?
I held up 12 sides in the arena, so that made me happy.
That is most definitely going to be a Ricky mid against Invoker.
Yep.
That's one of the most old school counters. If you can have a goofy counter against Invoker, that would be Ricky on the mid lane.
Yeah, and it kind of further cements the point where Disruptor, he's got a Ricky to play on, a Brew to play on. There's a lot of just natural aggression coming out that it's going to be very forward-thinking. I think like a Diffusal Blade from Ricky, and yeah, you keep going. Now the question is, what's the carry for Liquid to keep this kind of train of thought?
I want to talk more about the Tiny, because I don't understand where he's going.
Me neither, but we're not supposed to. We're supposed to watch it.
It's just going to be like a Weaver carry.
It could just
and then
be
just support Tiny Grim.
Yeah, I think Tiny could be 4 here in this situation with Invoker mid, Weaver carry. There's also the scenario where we've seen Invoker support, we've seen Invoker mid, we've seen Weaver support, we've seen it core, we've seen Tiny mid. Technically all 3 of these heroes have a case to be somewhere they shouldn't really be, but I'd like to see maybe just Weaver carry Tiny support, probably.
Now that we know that Ricky's mid, though, wouldn't you put a different hero rather than Invoker mid? If Ricky is such a good matchup against that, is Tiny Ricky better for the side of Team Spirit?
That's also a potential argument, putting the Tiny mid, pushing the Weaver to a different role, because you don't want to have your Weaver carry be jumped by the Ricky. And then, yeah, there's a lot of answers that Spirit need to find here, but
it just complicates things for Team Spirit a lot. Now they have to like move roles, heroes everywhere. Like, can they even make sense of all of it in the end? Like, what is this supposed to be now?
Yeah, they've got like less than a minute reserve time plus their pick time.
They have 2 seconds in reserve time.
A lot of reserve
I will
time.
tell you that one. That is, yeah. No, I mean, on the side of Team Liquid, they're running out. They have 5 seconds left. They ban out 2 tanky heroes in the Centaur and the Tidehunter. They're expecting Team Spirit still to need a hero for Collapse as they pick up the Spectre themselves.
This is so good. This is literally completely perfects what I was imagining of the draft from Liquid. You're playing with a vision-giving hero in the Ricky. You're playing with a global core that can join like Spectre. You're playing with 2 supports that are absolutely fantastic at taking advantage of that vision. Like, you're going to be playing on these side lanes really hard, playing like catch and kill, basically. And it's so easy for the heroes to come together.
Oh, okay.
Matu, you're a Night Stalker specialist.
I do love the hero, but I don't see the angle here. To be quite honest, I don't see why it's picked now. I combos well Grim, that's all I can say about that, really. So
potentially, it's another answer to the Brewmaster. So it's like you keep killing off the Brew, you keep hunting him, but
now that I think of it, it gives free, like Spectre gives free lane for Night Stalker.
Yeah.
Night Stalker biggest problem is getting out of the laning phase. So in that sense, it's good.
All right. Guys, we will have a support Invoker and Lara on the Tiny, but I'm most curious to hear what Blitz has to say about what he's up against.
That's right, I'm joined by a Blitz for this game number 3 of Team Liquid, where I'm left scratching my head, man. Disruptor shows up. It's only been picked twice this tournament. Both of them were Whitemon on TSM, and you're whipping it out here. What's this hero doing?
Did the games win? Did they win?
It went 50%.
I don't like those odds.
Not a coin flipper.
No, not really. That felt kind of bad. I didn't want to hear that. I mean, I don't know. It's TI. Some random heroes come in the pool. Like, there's an NS and there's a Ricky mid. Like, just life happens. You know, it's just a funny draft, so we'll see what happens.
What a crazy life you lead, Blitz. How about, yeah, so there's the Night Stalker and the Tiny as well. I feel like you guys are just developing your own meta because game 1 looked like team fight out of you. Didn't really work out. Game 2 was tempo, and it worked out well. Here, it seems like you're reverting back to team fight.
Take this time. Oh, I didn't want to hear that either. No, that just sounds rough.
Blitz, you're the expert here, not me.
I don't know. We're just going in there. We're picking heroes. We're hoping for the best. We're not thinking about this like tempo stuff. You know, they're a really scary team.
You know, I just did an interview with Silent, and I was like, wow, you guys are considered the favorites. And he's like, oh, I don't know. I don't really think we're the favorites. You know, everyone we beaten is eliminated. Can one of you have some confidence?
I firmly believe that they will, maybe they'll beat us. I don't know. It's like a 50-50.
Let's send it to game number 3.
Very humble boy indeed, Mr. Cinderman. We got game number 3 underway in this upper bracket matchup, and winner of this gets top 3 at this TI.
Yep.
A lot on the line here, a lot of prestige.
And if there's anything you want in your determining game to get top 3, it is mid Ricky. That has got to be. That has got to be the thing, and you pick Disruptor. Yeah, I love this. You know, this is, to me, is one of the most interesting parts of Dota, is when you go into deep tournament runs, when the weird picks start coming out because you start playing some 7D chess against each other. I feel like Blitz is keeping his cards kind of close. I don't think they were just, oh, I guess we're picking this now. This looks fun. We're just trying our best, you know.
There's definitely a plan. But
there's probably a little bit more depth to it than that, but he obviously doesn't want to share that, which is completely, that's to be expected. And that leaves us to try to make sense of the whole thing. So I think the Disruptor was picked into Weaver and Grimstroke. Glimpse is an amazing spell against Weaver, so that's probably why they got inspired to pick it, but also the Static Storm combination, right? And you have a really good pairing with the Brewmaster because you can Cyclone to catch someone, and then you can drop them down into a Static Storm Kinetic Field combination. So it's essentially a guaranteed setup for Disruptor. I think that's part of what they're looking for. The mid-Ricky seems to be a solution that multiple teams have tried to run against Invoker, but the Invoker will just be relegated to position 4 here. And the Night Stalker, yeah, that one's the most curious one for me. Is it literally just, oh, the safe lane is Spectre, so we can play a greedier, weaker lane hero that can play tempo later? Or is there some more depth? Because, I mean, yeah, the silence against the Brewmaster is nice, but this doesn't strike me as like an obviously incredible Night Stalker game. Maybe when he gets BKB.
I like how you're trying to break this down as much as possible. And the real simple answer for everybody out there for Ricky mid, it's either going to look really good or really bad. There's pretty much no in between. So if you're a Liquid fan, see how that goes. I mean, this is upper bracket, so you can throw out some curveballs, right? You still have an extra life to work with.
That is true. But this is just not, this isn't even in my top 10 heroes I think of when I hear
Yatoro might actually die here. He slims back and down he goes. First blood for Liquid. That's why they picked Ricky, because he wasn't there at all.
Yes. He was cheering them on from mid, and that gave them a morale.
You're expecting Ricky to never be there.
Yeah, Toro did get the rune, so it was a 3-rune trade-off for first blood. I think that's relatively even. It's mainly about how impactful the experience is going to be for the heroes that pick that up. Like, getting a faster level 2 in a lane could maybe lead to a secondary kill, and then all of a sudden it's really good. But the Weaver is going to be, I think, quite tough for them to kill in this bottom lane.
Well, another hero we haven't really talked about is Tiny for Mr. Laurel. That would be the mid lane. I have missed this as a core so much. Why do they pick it here?
Yeah, who knows? I think they don't even know themselves by the... Judging from the interviews, we're just looking at the... Like, what do you want to play today, buddy?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to play for top 3 TI? Oh, okay. I guess you can play Ricky, Nisha.
Well, preferred picks, I suppose.
I think what Tiny does offer in this game is he's a really good assassination partner together with Grimstroke. So if you jump some of these more frail heroes, like Ricky has a relatively low HP pool and can't really use his spells during the Avalanche Toss combo. You can kill the supports very easily. Both Willow and Disruptor kind of die if they get jumped by a Tiny with Inkswell on him. And you have a little bit of an extra thing that I don't want to overlook too much in this game. I think Mira can have a relatively big impact on Invoker with a level in Sunstrike. Just 1 point after the change, to how Sunstrike scales with Exort. It does a lot of damage level 1. Probably not going to see him skill it right now, but it could be an earlier thing in the game than we see a lot of them.
Early aggression. Boxy taking the brunt of a lot of damage from Spirit. Zai trying to keep Yatoro at bay.
Oh,
more right clicks. Boxy barely survives. Yatoro not able to get close enough to use that ink swell to full effect, but still definitely directing a lot of damage Liquid's way.
But yeah, Grim Weaver is a very strong lane against Brewmaster in particular. It seems like the Weaver was a direct counter pick when they saw this come out from Liquid as their overall first choice of the game. We'll see how Zai manages to deal with what should be a very unfavorable matchup in that bot lane. And it only gets worse, because when Grimstroke and Weaver both hit level 3, it just ramps up to 11 very fast. Tornado.
Cold Snap Tornado onto Insania. Decent amount of damage. Collapse, of course. It is daytime, so he is half a hero at the moment.
Yeah, he's running double bracers against a weak lane, though, so he's just going to farm. I don't think they can really stop him from getting CS in this lane. At the same time, though, it's probably also not the worst lane matchup for Mickey either. Minute 5, it's going to get tricky, because an Invoker Nightstalker suddenly transforms into a monster lane. But for the time being, it's pretty good. Nice little play there with the glimpse from Insane to earn him.
Beautifully done. Very gorgeous.
Oh.
Shot.
Wait, Collapse
That's
actually got it because of the Cold Snap. Nicely done there. Spirit. Thought the Glimpse was going to earn them a Lotus, but didn't.
We'll see how effective this Night Stalker is going to be. This is not a hero we see all too often these days. There was a time for it, of course, back in your day, many years ago.
Yeah.
It was a mid hero back
When's the last time we've seen Night Stalker mid in this? I don't know if we've seen it in pro game in this path.
Blood Grenade there, Inkswell as well. Yatoro gets credit for that one.
This lane is so nasty because as soon as Willow uses Brambles, if they either don't connect or expire on the lane, Brewmaster is just defenseless. You're literally just Shikuchi in with, you drop the Swarm, you Shikuchi in, you Inkswell level 2 on the Weaver, and he just runs on top of him, and Willow can do nothing but look as her Brewmaster just inevitably dies. So very tough matchup here. You sign up for this when you first pick Brew in this patch. Teams are starting to figure out how to really deal with this guy in lane, and yeah, Zai is already trailing by about 1,000 behind Yatoro, so pretty much the entire net worth lead of the Radiant side is in this lane. And in the meantime, silently, 12 denies top for Night Stalker. So laning stage going very, very well for Spirit in this one.
Yeah, mid lane relatively close on CS, a little bit more on the deny side for the Spirit side. Tiny V, the Ricky. I mean, were you expecting this to be any different? Like, I know it's not traditional mid at all.
Yeah, I don't really have much experience to draw upon here, but I would
sure
think
there's a lot of games you can look at turbo mode that are probably the matchup.
I mean, instinctively, I would say this is probably a slightly better lane for Tiny, but Ricky floats quite a lot of lanes, especially against melee heroes, so I guess it's kind of just going to be a wash. And the most important thing for both teams, really, is that their mid laners start getting involved in some sort of correct action. But Ricky is an awkward mid laner in that respect because he doesn't truly unlock his rotations until he gets Diffusal Blade. If you compare that to a hero like Pango, who also goes Diffusal, well, Pango has a lot more to offer before he's before his Diffusal comes out. Ricky has these 2 little jumps that do some damage, but it's not Pangolier tier.
Collapse now can bully a bit, thanks to it being nighttime. And Spirit, you can see, already has a slight advantage in the laning stage. His bottom lane, Yatoro taking heavy damage, applying as much pressure as he can. Zai can take a Thunderclap, pop the one to stay alive. Yatoro does end up getting the kill, but the damage coming out from Boxy in that Shadow Realm, just too much to handle, so ends up being a 1-for-1.
Yeah, half a second left in the Shikuchi there, so nice for Liquid to find that trade. That was very close to just being one-sided.
Have a toss from Laurel. He's level 6 first. Not that either of these ults are going to be that crazy in lane.
It does offset. I mean, at this point, Ricky should be getting out CS by Gruul, right? Like, now the damage discrepancy is so big that Laurel should get more or less every CS that he wants. He will not be lucky enough to get the rune, though, as that is being covered by Miposhka, who has to okay.
He gets the double damage. He's going to get stunned. Do they have the vision? The sentry just in range, and down goes Nisha.
Yeah,
Very greedy.
Did he have vision of them there on his observer? That must have been pretty close to seeing the Grim. Maybe he was just outside the range there, so he thought that he could just tricks down and take that rune. So nicely played from Miposhka, just being slightly on the right side there. Counterplaying that. That's a big kill. Puts top 3 net worths in this side in favor now of Team Spirit.
Another ink spell. Maposhka. Man, the change to this spell is going to cost Maposhka life.
Really deep for this.
He will die, but Grimstroke as a whole,
yeah.
The change is absolutely insane. What you can do with just having that as a toggleable, or whatever you want to call it. Just being able to activate it whenever.
Not really sure what the plan there was from the Maposhka. If he was trying to zone out the Willow and then maybe steal the Wisdom Rune, but at this level that is very unlikely to work. Ends up getting punished and killed by the Riki, as Insania takes a little bit of space mid. So Disruptor as a support, not the strongest laner, and very level dependent. So when you're playing this as a Thor, if he falls too far behind, it's rough. So nice for him to get a bit of space.
Gonna get silenced, tossed up into the air. Inkswell's there as well. That's 2 deaths on the mid Riki. Yatoro gone on by Zaya and Boxy, but he has the Shikuchi to get enough distance away. Not looking so great for Liquid so far. We talked about this Riki potentially being either amazing or terrible. So far, it's on the latter side, Synderen. Still early, though.
Yeah, but the hero, the way it works, right, is that...
It is snowballing.
Yeah, if it does fall behind, it can very easily become a liability, especially given the matchups that it has. Get caught by Night Stalker Silence, probably dead. Get comboed by Tiny. We've already seen that a couple times, so gotta be very, very careful if you're Nisha here.
Boshka, oh, nice tricks of the trade to dodge out the Inkswell. Nisha will get a kill as a result. Collapse going onto the Spectre. Nick is in a lot of trouble. Down he goes. Big kill for Spirit again.
Yeah, Liquid had both of their supports mid there trying to get the additional kill onto Laurel, but that was just not going to happen. Riki, when you've expended both your Blink Strikes to kill the first hero, that's kind of the end of the play. Like, there's nothing more to be gained. And Spirit immediately identify that this hero positioning from Liquid is punishable, and they jump on that spec.
Yep,
mid lane Nisha, good smoke screen.
They have the damage here.
Trouble here if he gets out.
Blink Strike onto the creep wave. We're going to see a primal split from Zai, who's shown up. Maposhka's going to die. And if they can take out Laurel, this would be a very needed kill for Liquid. It looks like they'll do just that. The Avalanche is going to provide a little bit of space, but nobody has come to his aid. So down goes the Tiny. Good use of the, I believe that's the first primal split of the game from Zai.
Now, that looked like Spirit were actually going to cause some trouble for Nisha with a sentry into Silence, but he jumped away in time. Now, Boxy.
Crippling Fear, just so...
He's gonna live for now.
Boxy.
And now he's going to die.
Yes, he will.
No, it was technically correct. He did live for now. It's just a very short amount of time.
Now is a very short duration of time for you.
I mean, now, yeah.
And everyone. Limps back into the kinetic field. Mickey gonna get some right click. Stop trying to TP out. Nisha's here as well, but too much damage onto Collapse. So the mid Riki is getting involved a bit now, Synderen.
I'm loving the rotations in this game. Both teams are playing very, very... It's just beautiful Dota, you know, they're rotating very well around each other. They're bringing the right numbers to get the kills. You can very clearly tell that both teams kind of have identified that in this game, that style is what's going to be...
And Zai's going to get caught out by the Avalanche. Inkswell to follow. It's just a permastun with the toss. Just incredible.
Nick is probably in trouble too here, maybe.
Silenced. Laura continues to pursue. Does not have the Avalanche quite yet.
He's dead.
Karo's there with the Shikuchi, and down goes another core for Liquid. And all they lose on the Spirit side is the support, at least for now. Tricks the trade. Nisha, a Blink Strike away as Laurel getting relatively low, so Nisha can try to finish this off. Insania getting some right clicks before it's inevitable, and they're able to take out Laurel in the end, which is much needed for them, as well as Yatoro. Time lapses to get some HP back, looking for Insania. A couple more right clicks are enough. Puts down his ult, but it's not going to do that much. Smoke screen a little bit too late as well. Attempted TP from Yatoro. The damage, not there. Yatoro lives. He does it again, Cinder.
That was so close in so many ways. The TP was close, the smoke screen was close to connecting. I don't know if Insania had kinetic field ready and he could have maybe got it off too, but it's like he died almost instantly after getting the static storm off. So very, very marginal situations here in this game, and you love to see it. You know, a lot of the games in this patch have started getting a little bit slower, a little bit more static. Both teams are all over the place. Like, they're just roaming. Essentially 4 heroes on each team, if not even all 5, have started being involved all around the map. And it's very, makes the game very unpredictable, and you really got to stay on your toes if you're both teams. You know you can't just sit back and chill, because the next move is coming for you at any moment. And I wonder who the next target's going to be. The big winner in all of this has to be Nisha, right? He's almost got Diffusal. He's top net worth. We talked about Riki not falling behind being important, and That has definitely been accomplished here by Liquid. So that diffusal will be arriving now on the courier, and they're instantly going to put it to use with a smoke. Maybe looking to find Collapse if they can.
And remember, Ricky, with that ult, gets extra XP for kills and assists. So the fact that he was roaming around a lot has helped his game tremendously. Level 10 right now. Looking for another, but Collapse can kind of feel it. It is daytime again. Yatoro has his Dragon Lance, going to be going for the Death Soul, so Laurel, he's going to be spotted. Static Storm inside that kinetic field. Mickey's here as well. Do they have the damage to take out Laurel? He's going to get glimpsed back into Zai's arms with that Thunderclap. He's going to get tossed away, though. Already lost their Grimstroke to start. The Primal Split is there from Zai. They take out Laurel. So 2 big kills for Liquid. They're going to lose their Dark Willow in the process. Is Yatoro coming with the Shikuchi as well? Swarm onto several heroes. This is going to be a lot of damage if they don't take this off. As Collapse getting pursued now by Mickey, going to get glimpsed back and will die on the cliff. As Insane gets right-clicked down into Oblivion by Yatoro, attempting to TP out again. Can he do it again? Yes! How many times is he going to get away with this?
He does make some clutch escapes, but Liquid's still taking some good fights. I do favor that result for them until this happens. If Ricky dies, it's pretty...
Silence, so no tricks to the trade quite yet. Ixwell's there, they have the damage.
Now that is huge, because that's basically bigger than the rest of the fight combined almost. Laurel getting the last hit there is going to allow him to pick up a Blink Dagger, and that is the game changer, because now these Inkswell into Blink Dagger combinations come into play. You can one-shot kill either support, and maybe even Ricky. I think it's kind of close, but he might die, especially if they get 1 point in X-Sword on Mira. Hasn't opted to go for it so far in level 7. We've seen some support invokers get a value point when they're playing with a lot of stuns, and this was one of those games that it could come into play, but still holding on to a 3-4 build.
Mickey will have that Blade Mail very shortly. Going to be going for the Radiance build as well, so we'll be starting that now, essentially. Anisha has his Diffusal. Going for the Manta next.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So if we can find anything here, as this tower has not even been touched yet, so...
And I guess in comparison to the... Okay.
Okay, Yatoro. Nisha's going to find him.
Well...
And he's going to watch him go through the gate.
I can't really do much about that one. I guess in comparison to the other games in this series, Collapse has been quieter, right? And they did pick his hero last, so the question is, when is this big payoff going to come from this Night Stalker? He's currently 1-2-2.
Oh, Nisha. Oh, the sentry's placed.
Oh,
the smoke screen. Shadow Realm is going to provide a little bit of cover for Boxy. Gets up a nice terrorize onto 2 as well. He will likely die in the process, but this saves his Ricky mid. Mr. Nisha will survive as a result of this. It will cost him a tier 1 tower, though. This is the first rotation, and Laurel showing off the Blink now for the first time.
Yeah. Blinked immediately when he got the smoke screen, so Nisha didn't get to get an instance of damage on him. Could have changed things, perhaps. And they will claim that tower, as you said. Liquid trying to get a little bit of a trade down bottom, but don't really have the same pushing prowess in their lineup. Their lineup's actually just flat out really bad at taking towers, aside from Brew, right? That's the one hero that will get that done.
But he's so good, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he has to commit his ult to get it done, though. Okay, Zai.
Primal Split is there. Nado going to provide some cover, but will be surrounded and eventually brought down.
That's a Shadow Step and a Primal Split.
Mira. Does that.
They also find Miposhka.
Another support kill. Going the way of Liquid, so take out both of them from Spirit's side. And Laurel without a support, not really comfortable going in for any kind of initiation. Level 10 right now. Zai has that Midas, by the way. So getting some extra levels on the Brew. Pretty normal pickup from this. Sometimes you see like something before that.
I think Liquid have to be a bit careful here. Maybe they're overstepping.
Avalanche onto 2 from Laurel. Static Storm being applied, though, on the other side of the fight is Collapse, taking a lot of damage. He's completely isolated himself, and he will drop. Big kill for Liquid.
All right, that looked like it was going to get scary with the TPs coming in and Laurel having the blink angle, but it happened to Liquid went in time.
Right into the smoke screen. Nisha is going to find Mira. He's going to dodge the avalanche as well. As Mickey looking to finish the job in the Invoker. Now Laurel completely getting, well, he's actually going to live now thanks to the support coming in from the south of this side of the map. Mickey looks like he's going to opt to dodge this fight entirely. Another TP out from Liquid. The Shadow Realm TP with the high fives, but the avalanche is there, so Spirit do get one.
It's a buyback from Collapso. That's honestly an awesome outcome for Liquid. I thought that was going to get really scary. They're frontlining their Brewmaster without Primal Split. They're starting to TP in heroes. Tiny's finding an angle for Avatos, but Liquid found the jump first and already started the move before the rotations came in. And they managed to get out with all of their cores intact. And the buyback from Nightstalker is going to set him back a bit. Collapse once again being slowed down. Very curious how he's going to itemize in this game, right? Because we've talked about Crippling Fear being really good against certain heroes, so a lot of the time you want to buy Blink, but I just think there's too many problems. If you blink in, you can get glimpsed away, you get caught in Static Storm.
Oh boy,
dead.
Another big kill for Liquid as Laurel will get dropped in his own jungle. Maposhka next. Double kill for Mickey. And Liquid starting to mount a little bit of momentum, a little bit of a lead for themselves in this deciding game number 3.
Nisha he is running the map right now. Spirit have to be very, very cautious about how they move their heroes and bring detection and just try to find a kill on this Riki. Otherwise, Nisha will just keep this reign of terror going. Mid tower's gone. Zai will claim that. So that is, what does he have coming out right now?
I believe it's a pipe.
Full pipe? Oh my goodness, he is stacked already. This is going to be super difficult for Spirit to fight into. Their lineup's almost exclusively magic damage right now. So as long as Zai doesn't get EMP'd, can have a huge impact with that item here.
And Mira in the cover of darkness here. In this tier 2 tower, as Zion Company is starting to invade the jungle of Spirit's side. Not that far off from Radiance for Mickey. Has that Sacred Relic. There's one more component to go. Laurel is going to be spotted. They have the damage this time. He is surrounded, but Maposhka's on the south side, stuck inside that kinetic field right now. Static Storm to follow as well, completely surrounded by this Primal Spirit. Brewlings. It ends up being a very easy kill for Liquid. Anytime this Brew Split is online, it feels like it's just a kill. And now Mira's going to get spotted, stunned up as well. There's a smoke screen onto 2. Down goes the Invoker. Soulbind is there, though. Yatoro trying to clean up on the backside. Not able to even get the support. Has to time-lapse back. Yatoro continue on here. They are able to find Nisha.
Oh, that's a great tornado.
There's several heroes. Yatoro looks like they're able to take out Zai now. And the rest of Liquid now on the run. Inkswell a little bit too late.
I'll say Mira's tornadoes this game have been borderline perfect, honestly. There's been so many situations where he's hitting 2 or 3 heroes, and a lot of them he's throwing it in a path where it could end up clipping nobody, but he gets them on like both outer edges. This one was more like a straightforward one. Oh well.
All right.
That was a long chase. He got there in the end, though.
Going to the ends of the earth. Position 5.
That was another buyback from Spirit, though, so they end up paying again to get themselves a pretty good trade. This one feels more worth it, though. This time they got the Riki out. It was a very big kill. The kill bounty for that one being claimed by Yatoro, and he also claimed Insania basically solo.
Yatoro in a bit of trouble, does not have mana for his ult. Inside that smoke screen, down he goes. Liquid find Mira in addition. Nisha, double kill for him.
Yeah, this Bedlam,
not too far away from Manta.
Bedlam on Riki is dirty. He's just going in, he's throwing out all his stuff, tricks of the trade, and essentially just killing people from just from beyond, you know, he's not even targetable. That Willow extra burst is very, very helpful there. That's big.
Oh, it sounds like we're having a nice listen in here. See what they have to say.
Nisha's meddling a lot. Fucking Nisha, dude. My fucking carry.
Okay, well,
very insightful.
Eloquent.
Very insightful. Thank you, Mickey, for that.
Very nice. As Zai trying to take out the Tormentor.
He'll get there in the end, surely. Oh, yeah.
He might die in the process.
Oh,
Not careful.
Oh.
Run away, Zai! Torby's got some revenge planned here because you keep ignoring him. And Nisha wants a high five from a building.
Yay, Bedlam.
There we go.
Perfect.
Eventually they find its Spirit as well. Laurel gets the shard, interesting. And Insania gets it for the side of Liquid. So they already have 4 shards on Spirit again.
Yep. I mean, they have some very good ones to buy, right? Strobe, Weaver, Nightstalker, all want to buy it. So not really surprising that this one can go to Laurel. It's going to be nice for farming, right? Now he has infinite tree grab, but Yeah, I guess they would. Maybe they would have rather had the Invoker one if they got to choose themselves. The EMP pull plus bigger damage is pretty damn nice in a game like this with how just high chaotic non-stop fighting is going on. But if things slow down a little bit, the tiny one will also be very helpful. Laurel is starting to work on a BKB. It seems inevitable that all cores on the Radiant side have to buy this item. There's just too many problems. Riki is an issue, Static Storm, Willow, Brewmaster, all of it is insane control. Collapse, gonna get spotted.
Inside the smoke.
That is
just trying to TP. Very ambitious.
Yeah.
He's gonna die 70 seconds. Tier 2 tower looks to be Liquid's to claim. Fortification's there though.
That's a dieback too. So, you know, wonder if Liquid are gonna think about a potential Roche here. You know, you're in the right side of the map. Your lineup is not the greatest at it. Obviously, if Spectre had a Manta, it would be a lot easier. He still at least has 4 points in Desolate, which makes it a lot faster than...
Yeah, their lineup is pretty garbage at it. I mean, Riki does a decent amount, I guess, if you can keep the aggro off.
Yep. It works. And now, okay, this was something I was thinking about the other day. Now, Nisha is going Axe on Riki. What happens if you put Bedlam on him and he jumps into a hero? Does the Bedlam then follow that hero? It should, logically, right?
Yeah, it should.
Maybe it will crash the game. Let's hope that's not the case.
We're going to have a backup, I'm sure. We'll just start a turbo mode game if that ends up crashing it.
Well, if we do a turbo mode game, that's probably going to be like this one was anyway, right? Oh, close on the glimpse there. Insania just barely got away. Miposhka there.
Now, what if Rubik was on the other end of all that?
Oh.
That actually might crash. There's one employee at Valve, the janitor. His entire job is to clean up all the issues with Rubik.
I think they have 5 people employed full time.
He
so
never
make
leaves
Rubik and Morphling work in Dota is...
Yeah, true.
It was a choice.
They regret it, I'm sure. Nisha, oh. Maybe we step onto Miposhka. He looks to be very dead.
Oh, wait, they got that.
Weaver in a lot of trouble.
He's okay.
Okay. Looks like Ricky's going to stay alive here. Terrorize is there, not really clipping too many heroes as Nisha gets off the smoke screen again, but the right clicks are way too much from Yatoro, who actually will live through this engagement. It's collapsed now, taking a Spectral Dagger, nice tornado onto 2. Zai is there with that Primal Split available. Mira going to go in, Viz, just going for a D-Ward, knowing that he is likely dead. So 2 for 1, but Favor, I mean, it's 2 supports for the mid Ricky.
That team fight is basically the perfect example of how important BKB is going to be for the rest of the game. Yatoro is able to take the fight to Nisha, just pops the BKB, knows that nothing is going to kill him for a while, and they do get that pretty big kill, but still solid sequence from Liquid once again. They're up 4K, they have Spectre. We know how fierce this hero can be late game. This is the same matchup that we saw in a previous game in this series with the Spectre versus Weaver. I say previous game, it was literally the previous one. Just that this time the Spectre team is the one that's ahead. So that matchup is going to be very, very different.
Primal Split used there, by the way. That's a big cooldown. 2 full minutes now without that. We'll see if Spirit try to capitalize as BKB for Laurel is there. Finally, the Manta comes through on Mickey, so he's got the Radiance Manta. And Zai going for, I mean, a lot of times we see the Brewmaster go for Radiance, but probably don't want to, so just going for the auras.
Oh, this is an interesting choice here coming out from Spirit.
They're being scanned out.
Yeah, that was an
Liquid
instant
knows.
scan. But no Brew Split makes this very difficult for Liquid to do anything about, so as much as I said that's interesting, it's actually a kind of obvious play now that I think about it.
You're right, it's not interesting. It's the least interesting thing you've ever said, probably.
Very, very straightforward. And they will grab it. Who does the Aegis go to? It will be Yatoro, unsurprisingly. Also very uninteresting that they put it on him. That was what you could have expected.
You're really on a roll today. Very uninteresting commentary.
Oh, I try. So let's see, what big items do we have coming up next? So with that Roche, things are probably going to slow down a little bit for Liquid's ability to play aggressively because Weaver will be very hard for them to kill twice in a row. As a result, we'll probably finish the MKB within not too long. He's about, what's that, about 1,500 off it. Or 2.5k, excuse me. So it will actually take quite a while. But he needs it, because he's against Brewmaster, and he's against the Radiance from Spectre. That seems like a straightforward thing. And something we haven't really talked about in this game is break, right? That was a conversation from last game against the Spectre, where we ended up seeing it coming out in the Spirit Breaker. Who's gonna buy Silver Edge on Radiant's lineup this game? Night Stalker?
I've seen it on Tiny before.
Tiny
mid.
could.
It's kind of meh, but
it can work, of course.
I mean, eventually you get the Ags, right? So you have crit anyway. And,
yeah.
But then, like, that's kind of, you're doing that from afar a lot of the time. But
that's why it gets awkward, right?
Yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Good Toro out of there.
Oh, maybe he felt a little bit. He felt a little bit extra confident because of the Aegis, and maybe thought they weren't even going to try. But Liquid are shying away from the fight there.
Collapse has his shard. The eating of creeps.
Yeah. Eyeing up a nullifier into Dagger currently.
A 3K lead for Liquid. It might have an engagement here. Smoke screen again with the Spectral Dagger. Man, he is just stuck in place. Cannot do anything. There's still the Aegis, of course, on the side of Spirit. Already at half HP is the Weaver. There's the initiation from Laurel, but he's going to get glimpsed back out right off the bat. That's going to break things up for the time being. 3 minutes still on this Aegis. Spirit trying to force something.
Yeah, Collapse wants to steal the Wisdom Rune here. That'll be a pretty big steal. He's pinging it out. He has perfect vision of this, so there will be the scan coming out from Liquid.
Oh,
but
he'd
will
rather
be
go
too
for
late.
a fight.
Actually, he didn't. Okay.
He did not go for it. He wants Insania instead. Crippling Fear now onto 2. They can get the Primal Split, man. They can do it. He cannot get off his ult. 50 seconds dead for Zai. That is a huge ultimate not available for the side of Liquid. They're going to lose Grimstroke, though, to start things out. And Nisha getting pursued. Already at half HP. He's taking so much damage. Weaver just rips him a new one, but Laurel dies shortly after. Lots of trades on both sides. Toro popping the BKB. Sunstrike not going to clip. Looks like the Ghost Scepter's there for Boxy, but will eventually die.
And a good exchange again for, I say again, a good exchange that time around for Spirit. They basically equalized the game in terms of net worth, and starting to see this Weaver really pop off in the fights. And I guess most importantly for them, Laurel is significantly overtaking Nisha right now. It's kind of flatlined a little bit. Nisha was running this game, and a couple of fights in a row now, they've been able to isolate and kill off this Riki, who's kind of struggling to find a footing. As soon as he gets Crippling Fear or get caught by the Tiny, you don't have any BKB, can't really guaranteed reset and get out of there. So he's very much dependent on other heroes causing chaos, and the #1 chaos creator in his team was the first hero to die. Namely, Zai not getting that primal split off was huge. And honestly, Collapse's choice to scout the Wisdom Rune, see it spawn, and then not go for it, and instead go for this jump was instrumental in this outcome. So very good decision making on his part. He's now rocking a shield with 4,000 health on him effectively with that right now. We'll lose it all to Spectre Illusions.
Yep, very normal.
But
still quite tanky and looks beautiful. The glowing white is, ooh. Does this surprise you at all? That's a little bit more in favor of Liquid than I thought. This feels like a 50-50 game. I mean, it is a Spectre.
Gaben loves Spectre. It's always
true.
I think any game that's even on gold minute 30, Dota Plus will always favor the Spectre team. I don't think I've ever seen it not favor Spectre in this late. I mean, it is a monstrous late game hero, right? And I guess the sample size and how these games go, maybe not the biggest, but
really hates Weaver, probably. And Blink Dagger now online for Collapse. So the Blink Crippling Fear, if you can get the Brewmaster during that time, this is where like an Eon Disc becomes really valuable. Force Staff from afar, from a teammate. He just has to get off Primal Split in these fights for them to have a chance.
He's going BKB. So he's going BKB Pipe Octarine, which is a very, very defensive build, right? You don't get that offensive aura, for example, and Salt Karas. But maybe this is just necessary for him. Aeon Disc doesn't give you the safety either, because Weaver is one of the carries that doesn't mind buying Nullifier whatsoever, so he could just stick on you and kill you and cripple. And you know Night Stalker is also likely to buy that item, so yeah, probably BKB is the right choice, but it doesn't feel great for Zai to have to itemize like this. I'm sure he would way rather get something else.
AK trying to TP out. He's going to be spotted, though. Already at half health. All he can do is stand his ground, but eventually does die.
That is
big kill for Spirit.
Real big. He was on a 7 kill streak. The kill bounty actually going Miposhka's way. I wonder what he's going to buy with this. Aghanim. Currently only has that Glimmer, but that big kill bounty, he has the Philosopher's Stone. He's going to be working towards something bigger now. presumably.
I mean, Ags would be really good this game.
Oh, yeah.
Get the illusion of the Spectre. Collapse going to find another target, this time Insania. Up in that Ghost Scepter, but only going to buy him a little bit of time. The Spirit trying to create as much space as possible, although Roshan cannot spawn for another 2 minutes in the fastest form. The Yatoro with the Alacrity applied, tier 2 tower their way. The Yatoro is starting to get a lot of items. He's running out of room in his inventory.
Yeah, grabbed himself a Defiant Chill as well, so.
Oh, God, yeah, that's
a lot of armor, even more attacks. So you see the Geminate attack, but then if they fight back, he attacks again.
That's right.
He is really putting some pressure on Zai. Just showing who's boss right now. Tier 3 neutrals do we have coming to the other side? So we have the Elven Tunic on Spectre, which isn't that impactful against Weaver, who already has the True Strike of MKB. Quiver on Willow, another Elven Tunic on Ricky. And man, this MKB is very good right now, I have to say.
Tormy time for Spirit. This will be their final shard, so Mira will get it, unless there's a bug in the game and it goes to Team Liquid.
I mean, they could still lose the fight.
Yeah, they are losing it horribly, as Collapse refuses to give up. Cannot stand this building. You must vanquish it. Miposhka with one more Inkswell will run away in shame, knowing that he cannot stand up to the great cube. The game cube has been conquered, though, and Mira will take the shard. So now you have the pull effect on EMP.
Yep.
Maybe the most annoying shard in the entire game, if I do say so myself. Very good.
Yeah, also increases the damage, which, you know, every little bit helps, but mainly the pull is the primary appeal of that one. It's only a 6k lead now for Spirit. The Tormentor is so strong. Like they almost lost that one 3v1. They had to swap out heroes, call in the bench to barely win.
That GameCube had God mode activated. Yataro's going to show himself on the wave and get out of there.
Very high pressure situation, and it feels like the game is a little bit, it's not exactly on a knife's edge right now. Like the Spectre team, obviously, even being behind can find a big fight, but the writing on the wall here is that the next winner of a fight will probably get Roche too. So you got to be very, very cautious with how you pick your fights, and vision is really the deciding factor in this game. One team playing with the Ricky to find heroes and set up his team for success, the other team with the Night Stalker with a gem, and Invoker, of course, and Ghostwalk. Information aplenty. You got to react real fast when these heroes drop out of invisibility.
Silver Edge for Laurel, so they have the break to take out Mickey.
Yep.
And it will be the action.
They're rotating.
Yep, he pops his BKB, but he's already at half health. Gets off the avalanche, trying to... Oh, okay.
Limps. Not quite.
Okay, the BKB was still there.
Close. Yeah.
If you time that just right, it can be devastating. But the BKB is down.
Nice TP from Laurel as well. He TP'd the moment the Basher stopped proccing, because then he has a very high chance of not getting a second bash on him, so he did get out of that one. But quite a funny
situation. Coming up soon. Collapse wants to take a fight. They're trying to apply all their pressure to the Spectre, but they don't have to break with them right now. As Mira taking the brunt of the damage from Nisha on this ring. He's popped his BKB, wants to finish off the Invoker. He does so successfully. Now that's an instant buyback from him. As Nisha, only with one smoke screen to go, Collapse just trying to bash him down. He will do so. They will buy him back immediately, though. And now, continuing on the fight, is Boxy dies inside that kinetic field. Mickey trying to apply some pressure to Laurel. He's already had health, but there's the break. Can they finish off the Spectre? But no, not going to be enough damage. At least not yet. But jumping in is Collapse to try to finish the job. But there's the Manta style, keeping him alive. Yatoro, though, very healthy, will claim the kill for himself. Now focusing on Zai, whose primal split is already down. Barely lives to the last Geminate attack. Big Sunstrike coming out. Double kill for Yatoro. And just like that, I mean, effectively it's a 4v3 right now, but there were some buybacks coming out.
It's a dieback on Ricky. Nisha's game really starting to go down the drain here. He is now 6th on net worth, behind every other core. Mid Ricky, we said it when the game began, it's a very snowball-y hero, and he was off to a good start, but as big as that snowball became, it kind of just came crashing down, and he just lost all of his advantage. And this game, to me right now, it's all Yatoro and Collapse just flat out overpowering them, just kiting them around these fights, outlasting the primal split, outlasting the Ricky damage. Yatoro with the Satanic, effectively second life in that fight, and Collapse just keeps playing playing the angles with the ult. So beautifully executed from Spirit. Now 12k up. And if last game is anything to go by, Weaver is not struggling with killing Spectre late game as long as there's a break in play. So
yep, true.
You don't have to worry if you're a Spirit fan that they're going to run out of firepower. Tiny is also a little bit of a wild card in that regard. Sure, he's the one applying the Silver Edge, but he could technically Silver Edge hit and then get a couple of trees off with his BKB volley.
And force out Zai's BKB already. Yataro will take that. He obviously still has his Aegis, so we'll stand trying to get the tower. Mickey coming in. They do a lot of damage to Yataro, but he's going to be able to live through this onslaught. He's going to get glimpsed back, though. Satanic there as well. Satanic healing up nice and sound. Going for a potential kill onto Zai now instead. How is he still alive? This is basically a 4v1. Yataro and Shikuchi's away very safely as Collapse buying some time. With that crippling fears, the primal split is used from Zai. And if they can't get anything out of this, it'll be a disaster for Liquid.
Get a BKB.
Comes back, but the BKB's there, and they effectively get no kills. They do force out a BKB or two,
yeah,
but that's a big ult down.
Losing that split could potentially open the door, but Yatoro decided to TP back to base, so he's going to continue farming up. Approach that level 25, which is even more of a damage boost for him. We've seen how hard he's hitting already with another Geminate attack. Or the Shikuchi talent if he wants that one. Both talents are incredibly good. Shikuchi dropping from 6 to 3.5 second cooldown with that talent allows you to position yourself in the fight very quickly and keep being mobile. But I reckon he's probably going to take the Geminate attack and just try to overpower them during the CC.
Plus, that's going to be more effective at sieging high ground anyway.
Yep. Oh man, Weaver with Alacrity seems to be something. He is so strong. Okay, they find Mickey here. He's immediately going to jump out.
Yep, looks like he's fine. Dodge the bullet there. And Liquid going to try to defend this eventual push. Still 2.5 minutes on the Aegis, so they don't have to rush this from the Spirit side. The items are starting to be a little bit too crazy from Spirit. I mean, from Laurel alone, we talked about that Silver Edge. His Ags, he hasn't purchased any components yet, but he's almost done with it. Zai can be found by Collapse and have to BKB. He's going to be fine as a result. Oh, he actually finds him with the Avalanche. Inkswan's coming as well. Going to pop that Manta, get stunned out outright. Do they have the damage to take him out? There's the Silver Edge break, and with Collapse there to hold him down, that is a very big kill. 80 seconds of no Mickey.
Nobody nearby from his team to help him there. Gotta wonder if that was maybe a little bit too aggressive of a position to be farming in the current game state. All of the top side of the map was completely free and available for him, but was playing in that bottom half with no backup. And that one hurts. He has no buyback. I mean, Spirit don't know this for a fact. If they knew, I think it's Helena Barracks. Honestly, I don't see how you take a fight ever without Spectre alive. You can try to stall it out, but Yatoro has already shown to be way too overpowering. With now that level 25.